Cowboys and Aggies in a Big 12 battle.
College football Saturday, cheering across the town. Coach laying down the law now. We will score a touchdown. And the crowd goes wild. Our boys having their fun. The game ain't over till the dirty job is done and won. Born to play, get busy. Take it to the house, gonna get the job done. The pass isn't working, so we'll get them with the run.
OSU tackles Texas A&M next on FSN.
From Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, it's the Dr. Pepper Big 12 game of the week. And tonight, Oklahoma State matching up with Texas A&M in a battle for supremacy in the Big 12 South. And who would have believed after the opening week of the league schedule, the only two undefeated teams in the South, the two we're watching tonight, the Aggies and the Cowboys. And the top two as far as the rushing standings are concerned. A&M, number 5 of the nation, 267 a game, and not far behind the Cowboys, 8th best in the country. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Dave Lappman. Welcome once again to Big 12 football tonight in College Station. Matchup of two teams that have traveled similar paths. They've had their share of distractions. It has not involved players, though. The spotlight has been on the head coaches.
And usually head coaches squash distractions. In this case, they've been right in the middle of it. Let's take a look at the season for these two football teams. Both started with big expectations in the Big 12 South. Then demoralizing road losses. Oklahoma State down to Troy, A&M over at Miami. Oklahoma State bounces back in a thriller against Texas Tech. A&M dominates Baylor. Head coach Mike Gundy defends an attack on his quarterback Bobby Reed. Quarterback Stephen McGee defends his embattled head coach Dennis Franchione. But with that said, the winner today is the only 2-0 team in the Big 12 South, and it's wide open, and they have the early advantage. This is a big football game for both schools.
And it's still fresh on the mind of everybody here in College Station because it just developed this past Tuesday, and there's a lot of fire still to be put out for Coach Fran.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you know, this paid subscription newsletter to some VIP alums, I'll tell you, there's still a lot of questions, and unfortunately, this investigation is going to take on a life of its own for a little bit of time. A&M is going to deal with distractions for a while, Joel.
For the next 3.5 hours, though, some very good football. Big 12 football in College Station. Stay with us.
College football Saturday, cheering across the town. Coach laying down the law now. We will score a touchdown.
Tonight's game presented in FSN HD. An up-close look at the Aggies making their way onto the field. Undefeated at home this year. Oklahoma State looking for their first win on the road this season. As we head downstairs and check in with Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Coach, what an emotional week it's been. Your team has rallied behind you, but now it's time to play football. Big 12 South lead. Right now, if you win tonight, you take control. What you tell your team before running on the field?
Pretty much that, but how to handle the game and the ups and downs and the flow, and to play 4 quarters. This is a team that can score points, and we've got to play a complete game.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Szymanski is going to be kicking it away. A&M won the toss. They have deferred their option to the second half. Lamantia is the 12th man, and that is a very sacred number around here. Matt Lamantia is going to be wearing it.
12th man has to be accountable and reliable, and that's that young man.
Szymanski. Wow. 12 of his 30 have been for touchbacks, and this is going to stay in the end zone as well. The Cowboy that brought it in knew he wasn't going anywhere. That was Parrish Cox who's going to get the start on the corner. And our Liberty Neutrals starting lineups. Offensively, Zach Robinson will lead the way. A guy who's got good wheels also has a healthy Dantrell Savage back in the backfield. He's also coming off a huge game where for the first time in his career, Robinson going for better than 200 through the air and 110 on the ground, over 100 on the ground. So back-to-back wins for the Cowboys. coming in with momentum. Savage collared as he took it off the left side. Past the 20, up to the 22. Liberty Mutual starting 11 defensively now. And it's a 4-2-5. And it's going to be interesting because as you see Jordan Pugh there, the extra D-back, they call him a whip. He's a little bit larger than a defensive back, not the size of a linebacker. Now, can they be susceptible, Dave, to the run?
Well, that's the thing. You've got an undersized hybrid linebacker. You have a size mismatch in that regard. Let's see if Oklahoma State can take advantage in the run game.
Savage the single. On a roll, Robinson will keep it himself, working his way up to the 26. A gain of about 4. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. And who is also going to be the balanced team? The team that can actually throw the football on a consistent basis.
Both of these teams want to run for 200 and throw for 200 on a perfect day. And you mentioned Robinson rushing for over 100 yards last week, Joe. He did the same thing the week before against Texas Tech. He was one of 3 runners that rushed for over 100 yards in that game against Texas Tech, which was a school record.
On 3rd down, looking over the middle, it's short. And he had Pettigrew wide open.
Yep.
So it was there for the taking, the first down to the guy that was the big playmaker against Texas Tech. And the wrecking crew holds him to 3 and out.
And he's 3 and out with a no-huddle up-tempo offense. So Oklahoma State takes very little time off the clock. And basically Robinson overthrowing that football. His release point wasn't there. Pettigrew was so wide open, he tried to aim it instead of just cut loose and throw the football. That one was available to move the chains. Robinson a little bit nervous, it looked like, on that attempt.
5 with a 44-yard average, punted it away. Jordan Peterson waits back deep. And a good angle. Good punt. But it goes out of bounds right around the 30. Let's see where they spot it, where A&M's going to have it for the first time. Right about the 30-yard line. Liberty Mutual starting 11 offensively. Stephen McGee has been incredibly productive for the first time in his career. A 200-100 game last week, just like we talked about with Zach Robinson. And he's got the dimension of Jaworski Lane, the huge guy in the backfield, and also the speed guy, Mike Goodson. So they have a couple of the backfield, just like Oklahoma State has Kendall Hunter, as well as Dantrell Savage.
Both teams have triplets, Joel, that any one of the 3 or all 3 could rush for 100 yards in the same game like Oklahoma State did against Texas Tech.
On first down, it's Goodson, a sophomore from Klein, Texas. Not much available, only a yard out to the 31. So A&M solid field position for their first possession of the game. We'd like to welcome all of you watching the Pac-10 matchup on FSN tonight. As Arizona State now 5-0 for Dennis Erickson. What a story in the Pac-10.
Dennis Erickson can coach, Joel. Oklahoma State's defensive line, their front 7, they're going to move. They're not going to be sitting ducks for this big Texas A&M offensive line. They're going to slant, twist, stunt.
It'll be 2nd and long, 2nd and 9. McGee, a little pop over the middle. Jaworski Lane, their J-train, and he's got the first down. A gain of 10 to the 41. So Lane taking over for Goodson, and we talk about thunder and lightning. Well, the thunder was in there.
Yeah, this is thunder. Thunder's over 260 pounds. Lightning can make you miss in space. An unbelievably different style of run, and they really make an influence on the defense. One will pound you to submission between the tackles. That's Lane, and then Goodson will hit you on the perimeter. And Lane has become an icon. I mean, he's a cult hero here with all of his touchdowns. 19 last year. Kind of record that was set a long time ago.
They alternate, and now Goodson has taken over in the I formation on first down. Set it up for a run on the right side, and it's effective. Goodson slashes it outside the right tackle, up to the 48 for a gain of 7. It's going to be a real challenge for this group defensively. Now they go up against a ground game as opposed to the Texas Tech game where it was a spread offense. Levine is going to start in the middle due to a couple of injuries. Collins didn't even make the trip, so that means Jeremy Neathon moves up from behind Levine on the outside. He starts at the outside backer spot. Levine in the middle.
And Cox starts at corner because it's an injury to Van Sant. Now, he will play tonight. He's got a turf toe, as does Collins. Collins is very severe.
McGee with Lane. Lane takes him head on, and he wins the battle. He's got another first down to the 48. And our principal financial scouting report and our edge to the game, Dave.
Well, keep away, time of possession. That's all about Texas A&M. last week against Baylor, had the ball for 43 minutes and 18 seconds, led the country in that area last year. Patience in the running game. Talked about Oklahoma State twisting and stunting and blitzing. Sometimes you can guess wrong. Stay patient because you will guess right. In red zone, the only 2 times they haven't scored in the red zone was last week against Baylor. They want to get back on track and put points on the board inside the 20.
From the 48 of Oklahoma State on a drive that started at the A&M 30, a first down. McGee with heat, man, in and out of the hands of his running back Goodson. There was a lot of heat and mustard on that pass from Stephen McGee.
Yeah, and a nice job in coverage as well. And let's take a look at the keys for Oklahoma State. Handle that crowd. The best way to do that is a quick start. They didn't get that done. That's the way to silence that crowd. And also, you don't want to jump off sides. They had 10 penalties for 95 yards last week. Turnovers. A&M +6, best in the Big 12. 13 takes plus first in the Big 12. Oklahoma's -5, and they've given it away 12 times. Can't have that happen. And they have to tackle. They have to get the big boy down, Jaworski Lane, as well as Goodson.
It's Lane on 2nd and 10. Tried to take it up the middle. Looked like he had some room outside. Only a gain of 2 down to the 46. There is so much experience. Well, we talked about some of the skill guys offensively. Let's not forget about left guard Kirk Elder. Kirk Elder, 4th season as a starter. 1st team All Big 12 last season. Cody Wallace All Big 12. He's the center, a senior from Cuero, Texas. 3rd year as a starter. And then go over to Corey Black, honorable mention All Big 12, the right tackle. Last season, All Big 12, 3rd season as a starter.
And to have it in the offensive line where it's very important is a big plus for A&M. Poise and presence is monstrous.
Now they're looking at a 3rd and 8. Can they negotiate? Great pocket protection on the comeback off the fingertips of Kerry Franks. So the Cowboys hold. Cox came up on the coverage.
Yeah, nice job by Cox, who gets the start. Protection sound. Late pressure on the twist. We're talking about the twisting and stunning, and that's a catchable football that you have to make that play on. And that's the fly in the ointment right there on Kerry Franks.
And the fans don't like it. They saw the arm wrap from behind of Parrish Cox.
But when Franks gets his hands on the football, you have to secure it. That's the knock on him. He's very inconsistent catching the football.
It'll be Cox waiting back at the 10. The Brantley punt. And a real good one. Will it find the end zone? Yes, and a touchback and a break. So for the 2nd consecutive time, to start the game, 4.5 minutes in. Cowboys have it at their own 20. We're scoreless so far. Up to 5th all-time on the yardage list.
And when you look at it, Joel, as his numbers come up here, the big thing is the few number of games he's played. He's only got 300 yards to go to move up to number 4, and he's got 13 games to do it, to beat that mark. Look at this. I mean, he's within 1,100 yards of number 3, and that's 33 games down the road. I mean, his yards per game are phenomenal.
Robinson is going to open out of the gun on their 2nd series of the contest. Both times starting at their own 20. Well, DeMarco Farr in the pregame thought the wrecking crew would blitz a little bit more to start the game. Savage on a slight delay. Pounding his way for about 3, maybe 4. He's the scat back. He doesn't like a lot of congestion. He can make a miss, though. And he got 4 yards on first down. Dr. Pepper game break time. Let's head back. Mike, what's the latest?
3-yard gain on the play. Second down and 7. Cowboys on the 23-yard line.
What a development in the Sunflower matchup today. Savage lowering his head, going low, and he's right at the first down marker. So the North situation with Missouri taking on Nebraska tonight. Kansas, that was their league opener. So Kansas gets a win in their first game in the Liberty Mutual standings.
And for the 2nd time in 2 years, Kansas State, after beating Texas, loses the very next week to Kansas in the Sunflower State Showdown. Congratulations to Mark Mangino and the Kansas Jayhawks. Off to a great start. Will crack the top 25 because that's where Kansas State was at number 24 going into that football game.
I got a feeling we're going to be some ribs in Kansas City in the near future.
Could very well be.
It's 3rd and inches. And Zach Robinson lunges. He's got the first down. But there was a timeout call from the bench.
Yep, from the bench.
So the linesman come in. The other linesman spotted it for a first down, but the bench, they got the timeout first. Interesting from Mike Gundy. He'll do it all over again on 3rd and inches. So Mike Gundy, it's kind of quieted down after what happened about 10 days ago, almost 2 weeks ago, back in Stillwater. But anything but quiet around here lately. And we talked to Coach Fran about what has developed, and especially with the support of his team.
And that was pretty awesome. Caught me off guard. You know, the bottom line for me is that the thing that matters the most is family, my personal family and my football family, and for them to show their support was about as high of compliment I think as a coach can ever receive.
You look at Coach Fran's eyes, you can see the emotion. And he's talking about the Tuesday luncheon with the boosters. Almost the entire football team showed up in his support instead of going to class. And that was a big thing for Coach Fran. They really stood behind their head coach.
It'll be the same call for Robinson. He's across the 30. He's got the first down. He only had to get it across the line, and he did that by about the length of the football. Well, with Coach Dennis Franchione, this is 5th season. Has it all evolved as anticipated in College Station? It's been almost an on-year, off-year situation.
Yeah, I mean, you look in his 2nd year, they go to the Cotton Bowl. And then in year number 4, with the 9-4 record, they go to the Holiday Bowl. They beat Texas at the end of the season, a huge win, but it doesn't carry over. And Cal smokes them in the Holiday Bowl. But they're in position to do something here in the Big 12 South if they can focus on football. And Coach
previous play is under review.
They're reviewing the spot if he actually made the over 30-yard line for the first down. And I think it's debatable. I think it's questionable. But Coach Fran, he's all about focus and football. That's why I think A&M is going to rally around their coach for more than just today. And it is the upfield foot or the back foot when they spot the ball. And that time it was spotted with the upfield foot, which was the more favorable spot over the 30-yard line. Look at the numbers over the last 3 games. They're over 60%. And they struggled on 3rd down in the first couple of games when they were struggling as an offense.
Savage, a poor exchange with his quarterback. It never got out of the blocks. He'll lose about a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Well, what it was a read by Robinson. He was trying to pull the ball out of Savage's belly to run the other way. It was basically the stretch that the quarterback could keep and go back the other way on a counter. And he was trying to get it away from Savage and couldn't pull it out of there.
And Alton Dixon made sure that he wasn't going anywhere. Little chip on Dixon. Now, Zach Robinson shows some wheels. Weaves his way. And everybody wondered if there was going to be a drop-off at the quarterback position for Oklahoma State when they went with Robinson. But he's got good wheels. He can run.
He runs a 4.6 40, and he can extend plays. And look, at Texas A&M's not really set yet. You got him kind of walking around, making some adjustments, nice blocking, and then extending the play as Robinson and creating something. That's not the design of the play, but they had nobody assigned to stop the quarterback on the freelance run.
3rd and a couple. And you can see the average, and they've got some serious averages with Hunter, Savage, and Robinson all at 7+. Now they need 2. They're good about 7. 2.5 will do. Chip Savage late on the play clock. Little fake, and he did give it to Savage, who's got the first down and takes it across the 40 out to the 42. But he's going to log later that they bit on that berry in the belly of Savage because the far side was available too.
Yeah, and on this play, Savage at very late went from one side, one hip of Robinson to the other, and then the vision, he just sees the upfield cut to make a nice little tight spin. But fortunately, a back can go in motion laterally and not have to set for a full second.
Savage, the senior from Columbus, Georgia. He missed the first 3 games of the year. Back-to-back 100-yard efforts as Robinson on the play fake with Savage. A bullet in and out of the hands of his intended target as he tried to get it to a Darius Bowman.
Danny Gore with a nice play on that in coverage.
The junior from Port Arthur, Texas, timed it well. First down marker tonight, all brought to you by Overstock.com. Your entire order ships for just $2.95 at Overstock.com. Live better with Overstock.com. It's all about the O. And what we see, a little more O than we've seen at the outset.
And we're seeing up-tempo O by Oklahoma State. No huddle O.
Robinson trying to set up a screen. You can see that from up here. And it doesn't fool anybody. In fact, the linebacker on the play with a beautiful stop. In fact, the end, Obazor, the junior from Pearland, Texas.
Now, Obazor did a nice job of reading and pursuing the play from the inside out. Not a big defensive end, but a very active defensive end, and he showed his talents right there with the pursuit.
It's a loss, and a loss all the way back outside of the 36. So 3rd and 15, almost 16.
5 receivers, Joel, empty backfield.
3 of the 5 on the wide side of the field for Zach Robinson. Shallow cross way behind. Well, Manning was trying to get it to Broadway and almost picked off. Diving for it and almost coming up with it for A&M, and he almost got to it. Roger Holland.
And this is a deal when you go no huddle and you don't execute move the chains. The ball's thrown behind his intended receiver, Broadway. No opportunity for Broadway. And when you go no huddle, you don't take much time off the clock. And Texas A&M is all about ball control.
Staying away from it. The deep man for the Aggies once again. Jordan Peterson, good call. As it dies right around the 30-yard line. Scoreless so far. Aggies have it for the second time when we come back. That was something that yesterday Dennis Franchione alluded to with us in our conversation.
And Joe, there are a lot of juniors and seniors on this football team, as you talked about. So there's leadership to focus the team in the storm with distractions. McGee was the big rudder in the storm.
A little option action, no. McGee in trouble trying to get it back.
Intentional grounding.
Man, nobody in the neighborhood. He's not outside of the tackle.
Right. I guess they're saying in the vicinity was Martellus Bennett, his big tight end.
Well, we were talking about Stephen McGee coming to the defense earlier
pass.
as head coach.
40 years from now, when all this stuff is long forgotten and people don't even remember how many yards you passed for, they don't remember how many times Jaworski got to carry the ball, they don't remember all that other stuff about Coach. All they remember is there was a team that once played that represented what it meant to be an Aggie to me. They stuck together through the thick and the thin. Not only for other people, but for the guys that are part of this team.
Goodson put down in a hurry, and an exceptional play defensively on that stop.
And what you have right there is a quarterback that stood up for his head coach and trying to be the undisputed leader of this football team. He wants everybody to gravitate toward him. And Coach Fran admires and respects Stephen McGee, and he obviously feels like and has seen that Stephen McGee feels the same way about him.
It's Jacob Lacey who made that solo stop on the running back to bring up 3rd and 11 at the 29. McGee hot holding up. Now the pressure comes and flares it over the head of Martellus Bennett. Wondered when they're going to even look in the direction of their exceptional tight end.
He's a weapon at 6'7", 260 pounds. He played on the basketball team early in his career and decided to give it up, and he was the final look for McGee, but McGee gets hit as he delivers that football by Fountain and throws it high as a result. So the pressure got to him late. Nice defensive stand by Oklahoma State. You know, Joel, in the last 6 quarters, they've really turned it around. It was halftime at Texas Tech. They decided to simplify and worry about themselves.
There's Cox, 17-yard average, one of the very best in the nation. Waits for it. Brantley with a good one. Man, even better coverage downfield for the Aggies. And in on the hit, the wide receiver, Pierre Brown.
I don't have hang time.
You and I.
Yeah, we're questionable hang time. And MJ had hang time now.
Two teams that like to run the football. Can they get it done? From the 17, Oklahoma State has it for the 3rd time offensively. They've got 2 first downs so far, just like Texas A&M. Bouncing around, nifty moves, bouncing to the outside. His first carry and what a run for Kendall Hunter, the true freshman from Tyler, Texas. He's got a first down. And did he ever create something? It was designed right. He angled left.
Well, Kendall Hunter is averaging 7.6 yards per carry. And Kendall Hunter, like you said, Joel, the point of attack was to the right, but he cuts it all the way back. Everybody's sustaining their block. Good job on the perimeter by the wide receivers. With a guy like Kendall Hunter, you never know where he's going to bounce it or pop it to. So everybody, front side, back side, you have to finish blocks.
He is 5th in the Big 12 in rushing, 90 yards a game, as you can understand why. He's buried on that play, though, by Big Red Bryant. All over his back. Red seems like he's been here about 6-8 years. I know. Senior from Jasper, Texas.
I think Red is an Aggie emeritus. I mean, he seems to be in that defensive huddle every single snap of every single year. And he's calling the signals up front off of that wristband for his defensive line. He's telling them what they're going to do in coordination up front.
Dave, we just had shots of Kyle Field here in College Station. Is this one of the great places to watch college football?
Tremendous tradition. Tremendous tradition.
It's just an atmosphere. The generosity. Pettigrew was ready, wasn't he? Yeah. Bouncing in on the blocks, but I think Oberzor got the best of him. The rush end on that side.
Full start on the offense, number 87.
What's tough when you're dealing with crowd noise, you cannot go on the first sound. It's hard to distinguish in this crowd noise.
Jim Knox, what's going on downstairs?
I tell you what, Joe, before it's all said and done, weather will be a factor. North side, it's clear, but you look over here on the south side, you got some big-time clouds moving in, guys. Could be one of those games Dave Lapham lost. A lot of running with the offensive linemen.
Knoxie, there's no place like home. Click your ruby slippers 3 times, big boy. You got to get us back to Kansas.
Crack meteorologist Jim Knox on the sideline.
You're the man, Knoxie.
Mark off of 5. It'll be 2nd and 15, almost 16. As Robinson changes the play. Now the delay. Hunter, room to move. Doesn't look like a true freshman across the 45, out to the 46. He got 10, almost 11 in the carry.
He's got vision. He's got patience. He's got balance. I don't care what year he is. You're looking at a running back. And, boy, he really gets every inch out of every single run. And he always falls forward. And he's not a big guy, but he has great body lean and always falls forward.
5'8", 180. Alton Dixon on his back. Otherwise, he gets the first down.
He hides behind those big offensive linemen at 5'8". They can't find him until it's too late. All of a sudden, boom, there he is right on top of you.
It's a big play. Early. Field position-wise, 3rd and 4. Looking on the slant. And behind his man, Dez Bryant on the slant.
Well, Dez Bryant won his matchup with Carpenter, and it wasn't executed by Robinson. Carpenter has made a big difference for Texas A&M. He's got 3 interceptions. He's broken up 3 passes. That time, though, he lost. He gave up the inside position. But Robinson has been behind his receivers quite a bit tonight.
Zach Robinson coming in accurate, almost 60% completion rate, which is 1 for 5 to start the game. Back deep once again for the Aggies. Jordan Peterson, the defensive back, out of Lexington, Texas. Waiting for the Matt Hodge punt. Got a good hang time on it as he's hit by his own man.
Right.
His own man backed into him. That could have been a disaster, as it was Bennett, the tight end.
It was Carpenter.
Yeah, Marquise Carpenter, actually. A couple of 13s out of the field. Well, A&M has had some outstanding runners at the quarterback position, like Bucky Richardson, the real deal, Reggie McNeil, and Stephen McGee. 1,300 plus so far, and he's only a junior.
Yeah, and Stephen McGee does a good job of protecting the football when he runs. I mean, he's a very physical runner, and we talked about the yards per carry, how efficient they're. Look at Hunter, Robinson, McGee. I mean, those are healthy numbers amongst all other competitors in the Big 12.
Trips on the wide side, and McGee leads them in rushing per game. Jaworski Lane, the bulldozer, takes it out across the 25, right at the 25. Give him about 5. So Stephen McGee, you see what the numbers are so far this season at 4.6 and 320. McGee leads them at 82 a game. Right. Lane is 3rd best per game at 64. Goodson 67. So you take the 3, 213 yards of contest. That's impressive.
And they're the only school, Joe, that has 3 rushers in the top 100 in the country. McGee is at number 54. Goodson is at 84, and Lane is at 90. So they have 3 of the top 90 ball carriers in the country on the same team.
And now they've got both in the backfield. for the first time tonight. It'll be Lane. Trying to get him. He goes low. Most of the time he's low. He's right at the first down marker. Dr. Pepper game break. Mike Goldberg, what's new? And it's only 35 straight home wins for the Trojans.
And, Mike, I can't believe Harbaugh riled up USC. That ain't smart.
McGee on the out. It's complete. Van taking it in for a first down is wideout Kerry Franks. His big play now on returns as well as they move the chains again up to the 44.
And Franks has got 4.3 speed. Franks is the guy that can stretch the field. And you get your running game going, a play-action fake means something. And the Texas A&M offensive line picks up the pressure, gives McGee a clear lane to throw to, and he delivers a ski right. Too late to get there is Cox.
This is truly one of the most experienced offensive lines in college football. We've got all Big 12 performers out there. 2 first-teamers, 3 seniors with 3+ seasons of starting. And on first down, Lane torpedoed on that play. You better go low. You try to get under a guy like that. Sexton outweighed by 100 pounds, it seems. A strong safety. But it takes guts. The sophomore from Houston made the play.
Well, that's where you have to tackle him around the ankles. That is one big man. Okay, do you like J-Train? Do you like Lane Train? Look at those big old legs on him. Or do you like the round mound of touchdown? I'm telling you, this guy is an icon. He is a fan favorite. And for as big as he has got tremendous agility. He's got balance. He's a great athlete at that size, I'm telling you.
Well, last week against Baylor was a game of keep away.
Yeah.
43+ minutes.
They were #1 in the country last year, and they're 17th in the nation coming into this one in time of possession.
So 2nd and 7. First time we've seen the option from McGee. It's Goodson out of the edge, and he's short of the first down. Good pursuit down the line by the Cowboys.
What Texas A&M does to you, Joel, they'll hammer you between the tackles to anchor you with the lane train, and then once you have to worry about between the tackles, they'll stretch you horizontally with Goodson on the edge. With the pitch, the toss, the option. So they really stress the defense. They can spread you out in the running game. They can pound you inside. And then they'll play action and throw over your head. And that's what people would like to see more of. Texas A&M throwing the ball down the field with that great running game in support of it with play action pass.
Yeah, there's a timeout for an injury, unfortunately, as Parrish Cox a little woozy. Lacey made the initial play. Cox involved in the congestion on the far side trying to get there. And they're banged up. Van Zandt turf toe. He's now backing up the corners, Lacey and Cox. So
he may have to go right now. His turf toe is not as bad. He's practiced pretty well. And Chris Collins, who's been a monster for them at linebacker, real severe turf toe. He didn't even travel, so we will not see him tonight at linebacker whatsoever.
So they're getting a little thin at the corner. It's 3rd and less than a yard. And banging his way home, selling to use Chris Alexander, the senior from Humboldt. And it's funny, when you talk about a fullback here, you don't see him touch the ball all that often because Lane is similar in size.
Yeah, and this fullback is an outstanding blocker, Chris Alexander. Lane and Goodson love him, because all he wants to do is block. And that time they let the big dog eat a little bit. They rewarded him with a rush. And Mike Gundy knows that his defense is going to have to get them off the football field. Texas A&M is doing one of their meat grinder time of possession, multiple play drives.
Well, let's remind everybody, Dave, it's a very toasty night in Texas. Flag is down. Man, is it going to be illegal substitution?
12-minute on formation. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, they were playing Canadian football, 12 men.
Right, and let's do a little sugar huddle on the sideline.
Yeah.
The point is, you're out there that long in this heat, this humidity. It was still close to 90 degrees at kick.
Right, and you know, we've already talked about Oklahoma State, and what they wanted to do was to build their confidence by simplifying and worrying about themselves, not so much what the offense is doing to them, and making sure they were doing things properly and doing it right.
Last season, you knew that, didn't you?
I love it.
It's good to be at College Station. End of the first quarter, no score. We'll come back after this word from Dr. Pepper, your local Dr. Pepper bottler.
When my
Rudd Weatherwax would be happy to see referee here. So now it'll be 1st and 15 on the first snap of the second quarter. And McGee on the play fake. He's got room, and he'll run it. He'll take a shot as well, rolling inside the 40. He was the sandwich down to the 39. Ricky Price back out there, and he was the one who actually jogged off the field, not Parrish Cox. He was on the hit.
Well, McGee never gives himself up. McGee considers himself to be a running back, and running backs don't slide and give themselves up. He just lowers his shoulder and tries to run people over. It's okay if it's a defensive back, but pick your battles. Don't do that with big linebackers. Sometimes you can come out worse for the wear. At the end of the first quarter, Joe, both teams had run 16 plays, and there was a 2-yard differential. Oklahoma State 57 yards, A&M 59. We had a scoreless game. Both teams about 7.5 minutes time possession. Unbelievably even.
2nd and 4. McGee running the option. He would be better off keeping the football. Instead, Goodson dropped right at the original line. It looked like he was almost unselfish to a fault.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, that time Oklahoma State played their responsibilities against the option extremely well. And Tim Beckman, that's his deal. Everybody has to know what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to line up, and how they're supposed to get to the eventual point. And there he is right there. And he has to be on the sideline because he's not only coaching the players, he's coaching his coaches. He's really the only one that knows his scheme. It's new to everybody else. He has to face the kids face to face and make changes that come off the field.
And it was Donovan Woods, their former starting quarterback, who got it done. Jaworski Lane can't accomplish it, though. On 3rd and a little more than 4. He gets a couple of yards. So they've got about 2.5 to go on 4th down.
Do you have confidence in your defense? Your defense is playing pretty darn well. They're spraying go for it on 4 downs.
Well, that's the first time that Lane has failed this year on 3rd or 4th down. When they've given him the ball, regardless of the yardage, he has been 15 for 15. Yeah,
Jaworski Lane is such a load. 19 touchdowns he rushed for last year. That broke a 79-year-old record. 79 years. And Fran's going for it. He does have confidence in his defense.
So it's going to be 4th and a little more than 2.
They try to draw him offside here. If they can't do that, they'll run the play.
Man, timeout is coming from the sideline, I believe. Yes, it came from the coaching staff.
Timeout.
We're seeing that more and more, aren't we?
Yeah.
From the linesman on one side or the other.
If they don't like the way it looks from the sideline, they can call a timeout. That's newly allowed in college and pro football.
We'll find out what they're going to do. Will they continue to go for it or punt it away? It's a very short field.
More than
sides. Was anybody left out?
Well, I think what happened is the center forgot the snap count because everybody moved and the ball didn't. And when more people than one move, when they all move and the ball doesn't, the center forgot the snap count. And you can't, as a center or a quarterback, forget the snap count because it makes everybody look bad. Just like there, everybody went on 1, and the count was 1, but the center thought it was on 2. No can do.
So Texas A&M stalls after starting back at their own 20. And there was pressure that time on Justin Brantley. Cox will stay away from it. Too many Aggies are out. A good decision by the veteran return man with a 17-yard average. It'll be back at the 11, the worst field position for the Cowboys to start a drive when we come back. Live better with Overstock.com. It is all about the O. Yeah. Can Oklahoma State generate something? 11 snaps, 62 yards on the ground. Nothing through the air. In fact, a -5. Robinson out of the gun from his own 11. After the play fake, pocket collapsing. And looking downfield, underthrown for Darius Bowman. And trying to catch up on the play. The defensive back on that side of the field. That was Danny Gore.
Well, trying to extend the play of Zach Robinson. He gets out of pocket, he gets drilled, and he underthrows the football because of that pressure. And Bowman sees the ball's underthrown. He comes back for it before Danny Gore realizes it, but can't come back to make a play on it.
So 2nd and 10 at the 11. Bouncing outside, nice running by Savage. And still on his feet. He wouldn't quit on the play. I think he's got it. He does. What an effort by Dantrell Savage all the way to the 22. He gets 11. And the last 3-4, people were wrapping him up.
He was churning those legs, Joel. And there he is, averaging 6 yards exactly a carry on the season. And this is all about determination, desire, want to. And he missed some football because of that abdominal groin area strain.
And
he realized how much he missed the game of football. And he's a hungry running back, and he's running hard. He's finishing every run, and they are a different football team when he's available with Hunter.
Pettigrew, the tight end, slides in motion. On a play fake, he's got Pettigrew wide open. They didn't account for him. I wondered when they were going to find the two tight ends, Pettigrew and Martellus Bennett for the Aggies, because both were all Big 12 last year.
Well, and you look at Bennett and Joey Thomas for Texas A&M and Pettigrew for Oklahoma State. We have a trio of tight ends that are outstanding. And Pettigrew is, you know, they're just going to run a little bit of a naked bootleg, and Pettigrew is just going to fake like he's blocking and then come out all by his lonesome. And now he's big, lowers the shoulder, yards after catch. We saw him make the winning play against Texas Tech. That was a little tight end hide right there. Come down like you're going to block, release, nice play, well conceived.
Show the blitz off the edge. Savage picks it up. A bullet for Pettigrew. First down, as all of a sudden, Zach Robinson wasn't on, but he's looked for his tight end, and that's between the hash marks.
Well, there's only so many things teams can do to a tight end. It's like the security blanket for a quarterback. And Pettigrew on the year, averaging 17 yards per play. He can stretch the field down the hash mark. And in the scene here, nobody reroutes him, nobody touches him. Free release off the line of scrimmage. They were more concerned with the outside wide receivers, Bowman and Des Bryant. And Pettigrew said, "You're going to give me all that real estate, I will take it."
First down very quickly down to the 39 of A&M. So Robinson, 2 completions and 39 yards to the tight end. Now Robinson showing his speed on the outside for a first down. So he turns the corner effectively. Shows that all the dimensions he brings to the game.
Designed quarterback sweep, Joel. That's all this was. And his blockers do a great job for him. It's a designed quarterback sweep. He's going to run it all the way. Savage does a good job on the perimeter. A great lead block by him. He not only runs it, he does the blue-collar dirty work as well. Complete football play.
Savage's block got him the first down. That was the last 5 yards.
No doubt.
Zach Robinson with 34 yards throwing. And now, with that carry, he's got 23 on the ground.
All the checks come from the sideline. That time they checked from the sideline.
They want to throw the football. Savage looking over for a Bowman. And almost is it?
He caught it. He caught it.
He's got the touchdown.
Unbelievable.
Held on Savage on the gadget play. Finds Darius Bowman. Had to wait for the signal from the linesman on the far side to see if he cradled it. Touchdown, Bowman.
The official in the middle of the end zone immediately raised his hands. Bowman made a great play on the football, and you have a Texas A&M Aggie hurt. But Savage honestly should not have thrown this football. Texas A&M was not fooled. But Savage says, "Bowman, you can make a contested catch for me." There's great coverage. The ball squeezes in there between the safeties, and Bowman holds on. Unbelievable. The ball just squeezes. Savage honestly rolled the dice, and he came up a big winner on the craps table right there.
The free safety, Devin Gregg, thought he was going to get it.
I'll tell you, it hung up there a while. Savage had a lot of confidence in Bowman. He threw it away from one defender, but another one was closing quickly on him, and the injured party down on the field is Hodge.
Yeah, Stephen Hodge, the senior from Richardson.
And the defensive backs crisscross right in front of Bowman. The ball splits them. Bowman, great concentration on the football because his vision had to be obscured at some point. But once the ball comes in Bowman's area, that big boy is going to catch it. And he is special. I mean, he is, his size speed ratio is crazy. 6'4", 220 pounds. And he's caught 12 touchdown passes of over 20 yards. Make that 13.
Nice
he makes
adjustment.
a great adjustment to the football, and he splits the defensive backs and says, "Just like I drew it up, just like I threw it. I knew you would turn and adjust to the football, and I'd split those DBs." Whew. If that had unfolded like that in practice, I'm sure the coach would have said, "You know what, Savage? If it's not there, tuck it and run." And that play he made, even though it really wasn't there. Sometimes big plays happen that way.
Well, Mike Gundy told us that Savage back to the team meant so much because of what he brings overall. And he missed the first 3 games of the year. When we talked about Gundy, that was before the Texas Tech game.
He played in the Georgia game and got hurt, and then they lost him for a while.
Yeah, he was gone after the first quarter of that game.
Yeah, and that hurt the football team.
For the extra point, It's Jason Ricks, a junior from Austin. He's got it, and it quiets things down considerably here at A&M. So a gadget play. Savage finding Bowman. It's good for 29 yards. And the Cowboys trying to start Big 12 play at 2-0. Have an early 7-0 lead. We'll be back after this word from Dr. Pepper.
Hi.
They checked out his left knee. They even put a sleeve on it. He's tying his shoes right now. He'll be back in, guys.
Noxie, if you were at Hodge on that play, I know you would have picked it. I mean, that ball, Savage hung it up there for a while, and Hodge almost had the interception. Looked like it, you know, almost unbelievable that he didn't. You have to give Bowman a tremendous amount of credit, and Hodge wants to get back in that football game sooner rather than later to try to make amends.
A&M's going to have it at their own 20 for the second consecutive time. Aggies 5 first downs thus far. And this is their 4th series. So very quiet offensively for both sides until that drive. And a nice fade. McGee outside, but again, good lateral pursuit. Good play down the line. That was help out of the secondary as well.
And here's the touchdown play on the gadget one more time. And right now, I'm throwing it no matter what. And now, I know I can throw it away from the corner, so I know Bowman's going to make a great adjustment. Here comes Hodge, though, and he's like, oh, just a little bit late. And you know what? He rolled the dice, because if he had gone for the receiver and he was there in time to have a simultaneous contact and at least cause an incompletion, but it ends up being a big play by 2 great football players. Nice throw by Savage. Better catch by Bowman.
They run. Bennett in motion. Lane won't go down with the first hit. Lunges for about 4 up to the 26. So now when are they going to get the junior from outside of Houston, out of A-Leaf, Texas? Martellus Bennett involved. First team All-Big 12 last year with 38 grabs. 6'7", 255-pounder.
Yeah, and he is a tremendous athlete. He's great in the running game. Big number 13. He pancakes people. He's pancaked people almost 50 times. And he catches the football as well. He's a very gifted athlete. There he is, towering over everybody in the huddle at 6'7". And you know, the difference is Oklahoma State's spreading the field. Texas A&M is bunching it between the hash marks with multiple tight ends trying to power people.
They run Goodson to the wide side. McKee over the middle, and was it timed perfectly? Popped away from the intended target. He was trying to get Pierre Brown, and it was Parrish Cox who did it well.
He did. His timing was impeccable.
So Parrish Cox getting in on the wide receiver. They were trying to hit the junior from Duncanville, Texas.
You know, we talked about how well Oklahoma State's defense is playing for the last 7 quarters, now pitching a shutout in the first quarter against Texas A&M. Instead of playing on their heels and wondering, they're playing on their toes and being aggressive, because Tim Beckman simplified things, and guys know where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do, and how they're supposed to get there.
Brantley gets into it. Cox waits. The last 7 quarters, Dave, as you mentioned, they've given up only 13 points. Cox put it on the ground. Who's got it? There's an Aggie in the neighborhood. Who wins the wrestling match? Couple of Cowboys and an Aggie as the ball squirted away from Parrish Cox.
Boy, Anderson had it initially, and Texas A&M got it. Anderson had it and couldn't fall on it. It squirted away from him, and they're saying Texas A&M now they're reversing it. Yep.
Now they're saying the Cowboys have the football.
Yeah, I think they just pointed in the wrong direction. I think you lost track of who was going what way. But the ball squirts, and it scooped up. That's just a great play. Scooped up and cradled into the body off the ground. Couldn't get the number who that was, but man, that was glue fingers right there to just suck it right up off the ground. And was that our man again, Cox, that made that recovery?
Yeah.
If so,
it wasn't Parrish Cox. Michael Corey was on the spot. He thought he had it for the Aggies, and the Aggies lead the Big 12. They're a +16 overall.
+6.
A +6 rather, in turnover ratio. So came into the game on top of that department of the Big 12.
And Oklahoma State on the flip side of it, -5. So ball security is a big issue in tonight's game for the Cowboys.
Well, this is the best field position Oklahoma State has had to start a drive. Going to make the most of the opportunity. Shot delivered. Coming up on the play defensively. An outstanding play defensively by Tupe. And Misi, we haven't talked about him much, but he can get there sideline to sideline. Senior from St. George, Utah. Big 12's defensive newcomer of the year last season.
Well, we talked about how Oklahoma State's a different team on the road. They've lost 4 straight road games, but they're playing well early in this one.
Cutting it back and trying to spin. Savage shut down to the 39. He'll be short of the first time by about 4 when we come back, and it was actually Kendall Hunter. Time for a Dr. Pepper game break. Let's go to Mike Goldberg. Zach Robinson in trouble. Thank you, Mike. Can he get out of it and get a first down? He's real close. What a spectacular scramble by Zach Robinson. He got a real nice spot, by the way.
You talk about extending and creating a play. Zach Robinson comes up with a definite hitch in the get along. He's definitely sore after taking that blow. He tried to create something, and his protection started to break down, and he just bounces off of people. I mean, it looked like a ping pong ball coming out of there. Now he tucks it and runs, and at the conclusion of it, he fell on top of an A&M defender and another defender and came up with a little bit of a problem.
Well, it came down on the defensive back, Ronnie Farrell. On first down, they got it off. There was no review. Had a big run for Kendall Hunter over the right side. He's got about 8 before they knew what could hit them, and they were looking for a boost review. They didn't get one halfway through the second quarter. So Oklahoma State rolling very efficiently now, trying to mix it up, trying to show the balance we were talking about at the outset of the telecast, because there were only 2 teams in the nation last year that threw for 200, ran for 200, and Oklahoma State was one of those 2. First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com. Save up to 70% on brand name products. Live better with Overstock.com. All about the O.
Boise State and Oklahoma State were the 2 teams that ran for 200 and threw for 200 last year.
It'll be second and short. And they want to gamble, go for the bundle. And why not? Bowman's there inside the 20, down to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown of Darius Bowman.
Well, that's what Bowman does, Joel. He is so strong, it's tough to get him on the ground. This kid exhibits incredible balance. His size is amazing. He's built like a tight end at 6'4", 220 pounds. And the protection's pretty good for Zach Bowman. Pressure getting there too late. And look at this guy, 6'4", 220 pounds. Catch, and now you're not going to tackle me. You're not going to take me down one-on-one in space, Jordan Pugh. You're not going to do it, the whip defensive back. I'm going to whip you. And he has got tremendous balance.
Jason Ricks in for the point after. Size, balance, 6'4", 220. And this only his 19th game after transferring. First 2 years at North Carolina. And what a beginning for the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Trying to start the conference season 2-0 for only the 3rd time in the 12 years of the league's existence, and also trying to win for the first time on the road.
He's now got 14 touchdown passes of 20 yards or more. Bowman is big play. He can catch, he'll block. You can't get him on the ground. He's a weapon.
Gary Frank's line drive, will he bring it out? Yes, he will. He's got a 27-yard career average, weaving his way, gets a couple of nice blocks, but only back to the 25. Another look at that score.
Well, you know, you hold your breath or you take a big gulp when Bowman's one-on-one down the football field. And Bowman's one-on-one down the field beats Pugh. Pugh can't tackle. Yards after catch. Can't bring the big boy down. I mean, Bowman looks so big in space. I mean, he is a massive man. And he finishes. He's got some tremendous ability. And Coach Gundy says, you know what, as great a player as he is, he's even a better human being and leader for this football team.
But now the real key for Texas A&M, will they stick to the script? Goodson, nifty moves out of the backfield, gets about 8. And I bring that up because can they play from behind? I want Dave's thoughts on that. First, Jim Knox, what's the latest on the sideline?
Joel, you and Dave were talking about playing on Sunday. Before the game even started, there are half a dozen NFL scouts just watching Darius Bowman warm up. Now, Mike Gundy just went along his bench, told his running backs like Dantrell Savage, hey, hold on the football. They haven't even fumbled yet, but he doesn't want mistakes because right now they are in control, guys.
They are, Knoxy, and you know, they came into this game -5 in the turnover department. Texas A&M +6, so all week long he hammered to his team. Ball security, take care of the football.
Joey Thomas, the other tight end, in motion, and Goodson wrapped up in the backfield. Penetration was there. Jerry Chatham, the junior from Houston. Good penetration by Chatham.
You know, I can't say enough about how different Oklahoma State's defense looks when they looked at halftime in the first half against Texas Tech. Texas Tech hung 35 on them, and they basically had a meeting at halftime with their defense coordinator, Tim Beckman. They just changed their season around so far. He said, look, that's enough. That's enough. Let's not worry about Texas Tech. Let's worry about the Cowboys. Do what we're supposed to do. We can play.
You saw the numbers. Third best in the Big 12. Just 1 for 5. McGee puts it on the ground. Doesn't have time to recover. Coming off the edge, it was Nathan Peterson. Very quickly, the senior out of Union High in Tulsa.
Well, you can't put snaps on the ground. Texas A&M, it's not a turnover, but it's an aborted play that Mike Gundy likes. And the snap, he had his eyes off the football. You know, he's starting to look at the secondary. That's why Bill Walsh never ran a shotgun snap with Joe Montana. Steve Young did not want the quarterback taking his eyes off the ball to look at the secondary. He wanted to take the snap and look at the secondary. Don't focus on the football, because guys would do that. Try to cheat and look at the secondary and drop the snap.
The punt, almost like a pass. Returnable for Parrish Cox. Return right. Can he get outside? No. Needed one block, and he had a wall over to that side. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. So Darius Bowman, the catalyst early, as Dodge made the special team stop.
He doesn't care who's throwing the football. He's got his running back throwing the football, Savage, and he threaded the needle between two defensive backs, and Bowman rewarded him. And now Robinson, the true quarterback, gets him the football. Two can't bring him down, and he pogo sticks on one leg into the end zone. That is an athlete right there. Look at that, 2 catches, averaging 38 yards a catch, 2 touchdowns. That dog will hunt right there.
This is big for A&M. They need to get a stop. They can't give up points with 4.5 to play and head into the locker room in their Big 12 opener. It's been an eventful week, to say the least, around Aggie Land. From the 28, Savage spinning for a couple, and a late flag came at the end of play from the referee, where you normally do see a hold.
Yeah, usually it is. That's what he signaled. Early signal is a hold, as he grabbed that wrist.
Holding on the offense, number 61, 10-yard penalty, in play, first down.
That's the veteran lineman David Koenig, who's played down here more than once since he's been working at the left guard position, and the left. And you see the hand on the back of the framework of the bar, and then you see the pancake block, and the referee felt that his right hand held on the takedown.
Savage trying to wheel outside, and in open space, he could not get away. In on that solo, it was Lewis.
One of the bright young linebackers for Texas A&M. Tremendous athlete, only a sophomore, but he is incredibly gifted. And Gary Darnell, the defense coordinator for Texas A&M, said, look, just fly around the football field. Be an Aggie wrecking crew member at that linebacker spot. He's athletic enough to really make a lot of plays.
He's playing behind Tupe as he's on the field instead of Musi right now. So another loss, and second and better than 20. Robinson with time on the shallow cross. Yardage across the 25 on Savage, circling out of the backfield. Up to about the 29. It'll be third, still in long, as we head back to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joe. Look at here we found here on the sideline. Pistol Pete ready for that Sonic halftime show. And coming up, we'll join Mike Goldberg, Marco Farr in the studio. They'll take a look at Oklahoma against Texas, also Kansas State. Big 12 scoreboard. You guys ready? There we go. Another plug for our big guys in the studio.
Everybody's ready for Mike and DeMarco Knox.
Third and 9. Robinson out of the gun. Pete off the edge. Bowman's got it. The big guy in the middle of the field. First down inside the 40. The reason I brought up, can A&M afford to give up points? They're not a come-from-behind team.
Yeah, they're not built to do that. They're built to pound the rock in time of possession and long, multiple play touchdown drives. But Bowman again, every catch he's made has been for big yards. And he finds the seam in the zone over the linebacker in front of the safety, and then he takes him for a ride. I'll tell you what, you get to a point where how much can this guy do?
And a nice touch to get it over Dodge, the linebacker you were talking about, by Zach Robinson.
And Q took another ride. Q couldn't tackle him for the touchdown. That time he took about a 5-yard ride. You have to give a token for those runs.
On first down, got it off in time to Savage. They were blitzing off that side. DeMarco Farr looked for more blitzes from Texas A&M. They have not gambled all that much in the first half. That time, they did come off that side, though.
Well, you have one defense playing on its toes, Oklahoma State. Right now, Texas A&M is playing on its heels a little bit because Oklahoma State's offense is mixing it up. And Mike Gundy, you know, and his offensive coordinator, Larry Fedora, on a nice roll play calling wise. They're going contrarian a little bit, throwing on first down, mixing it up, and they have Texas A&M befuddled a little defensively.
Savage stays in the backfield on second and about 6. Savage with a nice lane to run through, and he takes on Pugh, gets the best of that as he goes down inside the 25 from first down to the 24. So everything working for the Cowboys. 3 consecutive series they've looked this impressive.
Boy, Savage just lowered that helmet and ran. What's the right side of the offensive line create right there? Double and rub to the next level. Now you make the unblocked person pay. That's just a good job up front of creating a seam, and Savage hitting it. I mean, hitting it full speed.
Oklahoma State still 2 timeouts remaining, with inside of 90 seconds left in the half. This is the third. They don't want to go to the locker room. 3 straight drives they've looked this good. Kendall Hunter takes over. He looks like Savage does, and he spins inside the 20, gets 5 more, close to the 19. The only game that A&M lost, and I don't want to dwell on the subject, but they fell behind Miami. They were down 20-0. They didn't know what hit them, and they didn't recover. The
biggest difference right now, Joel, third down. Oklahoma State 4 of 7, Texas A&M 1 of 6. As a result of that, Oklahoma State's hanging in there in time of possession. It's almost equal. They've been on the field pretty darn long time themselves and starting to wear Texas A&M down a little bit defensively.
Second, a little more than 5. Robinson with Hunter. With time on a jump ball, and Dez Bryant out of bounds.
He caught it, though. Unbelievable.
Working against Gore on that side.
The contested catch. Dez Bryant, you know, and that's the thing about this football team. Oklahoma State can stretch you with Bowman, Savage. His foot came out down on the line. You got to get 1 foot in. He did catch the football, but they can stretch you with those 2 receivers, as well as Pettigrew, like we've seen. They can stretch you vertically with 3 weapons.
So on 3rd and 5, man, Robinson looking for an adjustment from the sideline.
That's where all the checks and audibles are made. They don't put the burden of responsibility on their quarterback, and they call timeout.
But not a bad idea with 38 seconds left, because they still have a timeout in their hip pocket in case they need that to set up for, well, if they get the first down, potentially a field goal later.
Absolutely. And remember, first downs in college football, the clock stops while they move the chains.
Well, last year, it was a sensational game in Stillwater, October 21st of last season. A&M 23rd in the nation. Dantrell Savage, 60 yards on this score. He gave Oklahoma State a 27-20 lead with a little more than 3 left in the contest. A&M comes back, 65-yard drive. That was 4th and 13 to keep it alive. 3 seconds left. Stephen McGee, Joey Thomas, tied at 27 into overtime. Jaworski Lane, point after is good. An answer? Yes, Bowman. But what about the extra point to send it to another overtime? Blocked away.
Big Red Bryant blocked it away.
That was it. And a 34-33 win. We've had some good ones between these 2 teams in recent years.
And there's Big Red right there, the defensive leader that blocked the extra point to preserve a win for A&M in overtime last year.
Savage the single to the backfield on 3rd down. Will he be able to get the first down? Spinning away, breaking tackles, got a block from his quarterback. Won't clear the play. First down. And will they give it to him? The linesman, no. He spotted him short. He said he stepped out of bounds right at the 15, about a half-yard shy of where he needed to go.
Everybody's up in the bit for this one, though. Zach Robinson turns into an offensive lineman. And here comes Zach Robinson zeroing in. He's going to cocoon right here to give Savage an opportunity. Wacko! Big time. And then Savage makes another miss on the sideline. He's tight-roping the sideline. I mean, that's a quarterback that likes to get physical with people. Savage got up a little bit slowly, but Coach Gundy looks like he's signaling for another timeout.
And did he step out of bounds there? That was interesting, the way he tiptoed.
That's their final timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
And every play is reviewed, so whether it's challenged or not. And Mike Gundy, you know what? If he's going to burn the timeout, you might as well have challenged it, because if it didn't work out, the timeout's burned anyway. But nice effort, nice balance by Savage, getting handed, boom, and there's a hit right in the smush. I mean, he went right after him. He went up high and went up tough on that play and delivered a big knock. Nice job by Zach Robinson, and Savage just would not go down.
Yeah, the discrepancy in yards over these last 3 series, everything started to click for Oklahoma State. So they've got 280 yards to only 79 for A&M. Place kicker is out there, and I don't blame him. Get 3 before you go to the locker room. Jason Ricks.
Well, you get a 3-score lead now if you can execute this one.
It is only a 32-yard attempt.
Make sure you block Red Bryant, though. The offensive line and wingbacks have to hold up protection. Good snap, good hold.
As you can see from the numbers, he has not exactly been money in the bank, though. From 32, on its way.
Yes.
Yeah, he got it. So that's a 17-0 lead as we take a timeout. Ricks comes through. It's a guy that didn't miss inside the 40 last year, so getting his groove back. That Cowboys defense, the story right now, pitching a shutout.
More people.
It's a miss. Good return by Brown as he's pulled down from behind across the 40. They've got a chance to get some points now. Still 2 timeouts up there for A&M and 18 seconds left.
But they have to stretch the field with their passing game. They seem to be very hesitant about stretching the football field. I don't think they have any choice right now. Mike Gundy does not like the fact that his kickoff coverage unit gave up that kind of field position. And he's telling his defense, it's time to bear down. Buckle up right now and hold them to nothing.
A&M coming off 350-plus yards on the ground, 552 yards overall last week, and only 79 so far today. 18 ticks left. Officially 18.
Texas A&M has 79 yards on 25 snaps.
McGee with 2 to each side. He's got time. Off the fingertips of his wide receiver.
Bennett.
And Bennett was in there. Tight end, the junior from A-League. And he knew he was going to take a shot at the end of the play.
And Bowman right there is responsible for the 2 touchdowns. And he didn't care who was throwing it. Savage hit him once. Robinson hit him the other. 3 catches for over 100. That is impressive.
Not a bad average.
Man, he's about 34 yards a catch. It's crazy.
2nd and 10. 12 seconds left in the half. And the Aggies trying to recover. They get in field goal position. They still have a timeout. Little dump off for Lane. They'll drag him down. And I believe before he got out of bounds, yes. So they'll take one. Well, they stop it, yes. 1 timeout now with a 2nd left. And see if McGee can't get it downfield for the tip drill. How about Fountain and Chatham? Chatham chasing him down.
Well, they got on the J train because the J train was trying to take him out of bounds. And J train is alone. And he was dragging a couple of defenders as long as he possibly could to the Oklahoma sideline and could not quite get there. But that man is a powerful human being.
270 pounds. And talk about a low center at 6 feet. They list him at 6 feet.
But, Joel, he's got great feet. I mean, he has got quick feet. He's got tremendous balance. And he's like a dancing bear. I mean, he has got tremendous footwork. You know who he reminds me of? Jerome Bettis. I mean, when I see him run and see him dance with his feet in space, he's got a lot of Jerome Bettis in him. And I think he's going to have that kind of a career for somebody in the NFL if he hooks up with the right offense. He's a talented kid.
Led the Big 12 in scoring, 6th in the nation last year, 19 rushing touchdowns. That was a school record. Final snap.
He broke a record that was standing for 79 years.
Now McGee, he needs some time for the tip drill.
Ooh, almost over the line of scrimmage.
Real close. It's going to be short, and it'll be caught by Pierre Brown, or Gary Franks, in fact. Franks got it. Number 8, now number 6. And that'll do it for the half.
That's about 45 yards of garbage right there. They had given up 84 yards before that snap, and they gave up about half that money on that Hail Mary that was answered, but not for a touchdown.
So it pad the stats.
Garbage time.
Downstairs, Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joe. Coach, you got to be extremely pleased right now. Your defense and offense playing at a high level. Defense holding A&M to less than, well, you take away that play, it was less than 80 yards total.
Well, we got to continue to tackle well. It seems like we're playing assignment football and doing a good job with the option. And then offensively, we have to continue to run the ball and make plays.
What can you expect in the second half?
Well, obviously, A&M will try to make some adjustments. I think we just need to continue on offensively, try to get the ball down the field, run the ball effectively. Should be fine.
All right, thank you, Coach. Right now, let's head to the Sonic Halftime Show and join Mike Goldberg and DeMarco Barr. Mark.
1 in 6 people in America may not.
We've talked about that. Shutout now over the first 30 minutes, plus over the last 8 quarters, only 13 points allowed. And couple that with the big play capability of a Darius Bowman.
Bowman has been outstanding. And, you know, this touchdown combination we've seen many times. Not Savage, running back, gadget play, Bowman adjusts to the football, beats double coverage, touchdown, putting him on the board. Now you go more conventionally. Robinson over the top, touchdown. Bowman showing strength, balance, unbelievable athletic ability, gets him in the house. Man, that's just an unbelievable effort. And we have the Polaris halftime stats. Look at the big difference right now, yards per play. Oklahoma State, 8 yards per snap. Are you 8 yards per snap? Are you kidding? That's phenomenal. And also, third down, 4 of 8, 50%, 2 of 7 for Texas A&M, Joe.
We would never kid you, Dave.
Don't kid me, man. Don't kid me now.
Well, Oklahoma State is going to be kicking it away. The Aggies ready to go. It's been a long, long time since they've been shut out at home. He's got a ton of game left. Kerry Franks 3 yards in. They tell him to stay in. He comes out anyway, though. Behind the block of Pierre Brown. And making the most of the opportunity across the 25 out to the 26. That's where the Aggies will have it. To start the second half, we head back down to the sideline. Jim Knox.
All right, Joel, just got through talking to Coach Brand. He said they just got to get back to their style of playing football. That is blocking and running that football, maybe mixing a pass or two. I asked him, what are they going to do different on that Darius Bowman? He says they plan to do a few things different this second half, so look for the double team, look for the safety to roll over to him, guys.
Yeah, they beat that double team with Savage, and they tried it, and it didn't even work. But Oklahoma State, Hunter's averaging 8.5 a carry, Savage 4.8, Robinson 5 yards a carry. The best yards per carry for A&M, Lane at 3.6. Nobody else is over 3 yards a carry. They have just dominated things on the ground. Oklahoma State's beating A&M at their own game.
Only one wide receiver to each side, tied into the wide side, and on a play fake without that many options, it's a gun for Pierre Brown. In front of Lacey, a first down outside of the 42. So they show the eye, they show a run formation, and throw the football.
And that's a good start. Have a little contrarian thinking to start the half. Les Koenig comes out and throws the football, stretches the field a little bit. Now Oklahoma State is going to have to think about that. And coverage wasn't bad, but the execution was better.
Pierre Brown, a young man who had a 48-yard return last year against Texas Tech, or Oklahoma State, rather. Now on another play fake available. Finally, they get the ball into the hands of Bennett. It took him a half plus. He's got it for another first down to the 39. Both tight ends can be that good for their offensive unit. Sexton in the stop.
Yeah, they can, and in standing in the pocket, McGee does a good job because he's going to get some late pressure. McGee's going to stand in the pocket and deliver the football to his big tight end as he finds a little seam. But that's a courageous play by McGee, knowing he's going to get hit after delivering the football. But he knew he had his big 6'7" target who you can't miss down the middle when you see him.
2 snaps to Brown and Bennett from the 26 of A&M to the 39 of the Cowboys. Jaworski Lane lugs his way inside the 35 for 6 down to the 33. So look at the possession, the drive chart of the first half. They didn't mix things up like this.
No, they didn't. And sometimes you have to get the passing game going to set up the run. And look at that. 9 plays, they only get 38 yards, and they still have to punt. 7 plays, only 24 yards, still have to punt. I mean, Oklahoma State was giving ground grudgingly. 40 yards of that was on the Hail Mary right before the half. That was just an outstanding defensive performance by Oklahoma State, and Texas A&M never got any rhythm offensively.
Alexander stays in front of Lane. Huge hole. And the J train goes low. Ronnie Price accepted the blow.
Ricky
got
Price,
a first down.
Ricky Price came out of there like a cork out of one of your red wine bottles, Joe.
The junior from Houston.
And that's your worst nightmare. When you have to fill the hole as a safety and Jaworski Lane has a head of steam. What do you want to call him? J-train, the Lane train, or the round-mounded touchdown? He's known as all three.
And this is a young man, the free safety Ricky Price, that made the switch this past spring from wide receiver to D-back.
Right.
Did he know what he was getting into?
He knows it's safer on the other side of the field catching the football than taking on that big beast.
A timeout early in the second half. We'll be back with 13:05 left in the third. Take you anywhere. And the first down marker is brought to you by Overstock.com. Save up to 70% on brand name products. Live better with Overstock.com. It's all about the O. And the O has finally arrived. The Aggies. College Station, Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, Jim Knox. Aggies just used the timeout. It was not Oklahoma State, but Texas A&M. So a precious one gets away early in the second half, especially when you're down 17. On first down, McGee. And kicked off.
Wow.
What a pick. No, he didn't hold on. Parrish Cox almost picked it clean from Urban Taylor.
Steve McGee got a little bit greedy on that one because the coverage was there. The field's condensed a little bit. He put that ball up, and it was just a good read. Almost had to reverse rolls. Seems like the ground separated. No, he lost it before he went to the ground. Well, that's one that Parrish Cox wishes he had back because he had tremendous leverage on that play.
Honorable mention all Big 12 last year, not for corner, but as a punt returner. He is that good an athlete. 2nd and 10 from the 28. Double move, wide open, carry, Franks, touchdown, Texas A&M, and he lost it. Do you believe it?
Wow.
What next goes wrong for this team?
Man, oh man.
That's 6 automatic.
Yeah, they pump faked, and he had cover 2 beaten. They found the seam in the zone, the area on the sideline that was there. You know, it's Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong, and you got to deal. You can't look into the backfield and look at the quarterback's eyes. You have to hold on to that football. And Lacey lucked out because Lacey got fooled by McGee's pump fake, and McGee cannot believe total dejection that Franks did not hold on that football. And that is defying his armor. We talked about it. His hands have given him problems. He doesn't catch the football with regularity.
He let it come into his body and slid right down his jersey. Now McGee going Frank's way. Caught it that time, but I think he's short by about a yard.
But when you let a ball...
They popped him out of bounds at the 19. Needed to go to the 18.
When you let a ball like that, Joel, slide into your body, you don't have confidence in your hands. You have to get your hands out and catch an easy ball like that. And Franks was doubting his hands. This is a lot of cushion, and then break up on the football. He closes on it decently, and because he did close on the football well enough to push him out of bounds, they did come up a yard short. Cox reacted well to the football.
They'll play the game early in the second half for A&M. Alexander in front of Jaworski Lane on 4th and a yard.
First time in the game they're in the red zone.
2 tight end set. Gonna be Lane. Big hole. He's there. And dragged down from behind. Otherwise, he's got a touchdown. He's down at the 6-yard line.
Well, we talk about movement. Oklahoma State's defensive front. Sometimes you guess right on twists and stunts. Sometimes you guess wrong. And this time, they really picked everything up well. A&M sorted everything out. Jaworski Lane had a huge crease. Here comes Jaworski Lane. Look at this man. 36 touchdowns, right in the hunt, right in the middle of things. That is a 19-touchdown season last year.
First and goal from the 6. Lane loses about a yard. Now, those of you that have been watching hockey, Carolina Hurricanes, welcome to College Station, Texas. It's a 2nd and goal situation for the Aggies of Texas A&M. Shut out in the first half by Oklahoma State. Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, Jim Knox. Big 12 college football on FSN.
Well, obviously, Jaworski Lane is the weapon right here, Joel. He's got rushed for 8 touchdowns already this year. He had 19 last year. That is a massive man.
There's a loss of 2. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 8. McGee on the play fake. Now flushed out. Corner of the end zone. Coming down with it. Is he in?
No.
No. Pierre Brown out of bounds. Great try in the corner next to the pylon. This junior from Duncanville, Texas.
All right, what do? They run play action to Jaworski lane and then get the ball airborne. Gets up. No, his right foot is already on the line. That's a no-go. You have to get at least 1 foot in. Oh, the left foot, but you can't put one in after one is out of bounds.
Yeah, he's already down.
He's already down out of bounds. That left foot doesn't mean anything because the right foot put him out of bounds.
3rd and goal. They've already created this opportunity on a 4th yard situation. Laying the single to the backfield. They bunch 3. Look out for Bennett, the man in motion. McGee in the flat. It is Bennett. Can he elude them? No. Down inside the 5 in the open field. Brilliant play. Ricky Price was over there, but the first one on the play was Jacob Lacey, the junior from Garland, Texas.
Excellent job in space. And Bennett is huge. 6'7", rangy, athletic. Played on the basketball team, so he has some moves. I mean, he's got some little man moves, but that time he was gang tackled. Boy, the pursuit, the inside-out pursuit was outstanding. And going to get the field goal on the board. They're down 3 scores. A&M's going to settle for 3. Lacey did an excellent job in space.
Sophomore right here in College Station. A 22-yard attempt from Matt Zemansky. On its way and inside the upright as he bent it through. Near side hash. So, shut out for the first time since 1971. Well, that was the case for a half, but not going to be the case for the game. 3 on the board for the Aggies as they trail the Cowboys by 14.
To see if Frank's not securing a touchdown.
Short one. It's going to be Devereaux coming back the near side. And Devereaux across the 15 out to the 18.
He should have 3 for over 100 because his 3rd catch was that little 9-yard out, but he dropped a 30-yard touchdown pass that would have put his team 10 points behind instead of 14. So they left 4 points on the field with that sure touchdown drop.
On first down, Savage stalls in the backfield. They took it away, knocked it away. Aggies have it. A&M has the football inside the 15.
No signal yet. A&M signaling, no official signal yet.
It is A&M ball.
Dixon, nice defensive force.
Dixon took it away. Did Tupe come up with a football?
Dixon is a headhunter. This kid will stone you. And Dixon, he kind of comes in there and it's ripped out. I think Dixon's the one that falls on it.
Actually, it was Dixon who fell on it.
Yeah, he fell on it. And he did a good job around the pile as the ball comes out. I think the officials were wondering, is forward progress stopped? And I think that might be looked at. I'm not sure. A&M's going to the line of scrimmage to run a play quickly because it's debatable if forward progress was stopped before the ball was ripped out of there.
Now do the Cowboys want to challenge the play? No. It'll be at the 17.
They're looking at it. They're looking at it up top. They decided to take a look. A&M didn't get it snapped quickly enough. Forward progress, it's debatable. They had Savage stacked up and they were taking him backwards and ripped it out of there. And Coach Fran just smiling.
We'll find out when we come back to College Station. It's early in the 3rd. A&M desperate for the takeaway. We'll find out after this word from Dr. Pepper.
The right knee was down before the ball came out. He's fighting for more yards. And as he tries to spin and surge forward, watch his knees. Down, right there. Knee down, ball not out. Knee on the ground. I think this might be reversed.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
Wow.
It's a fumble, recovering it by A&M, first down.
It looked like his knee was down.
I guess they're figuring that the ball was starting to come out before his knee hit the ground, but I didn't see it that way.
It looked like the knee was down, and then the ball.
Yeah.
It was punch free.
Yeah. And Dixon came up with it, and that makes Texas A&M +7 on the season now. And they lead the Big 12 in takeaways and turnover margin ratio.
That is a huge break now after watching the video. On first down, Jaworski Lane spins for a couple down to the 15. Second and 8 from there.
You know, I wonder if they were just looking for forward progress, and I'm not sure that they caught the knee potentially, but it doesn't matter. It's in the red zone, and the last time in the red zone, Texas A&M had to settle for a field goal. So Oklahoma State bent, but they didn't really break. Let's see what can happen in the red zone this time. Texas A&M didn't score 2 times in the red zone last week against Baylor.
Keep Goodson in this time with Lane. McGee playing the option to the short side. And it's well diagnosed. Exceptional play. Andre Sexton, the strong safety.
The official ruling, Joel, on the play is the only thing that could be. The officials on replay ruled that the ball was starting to come out of Savage's possession before his right knee hit the ground. That was their ruling, that the play on the field, the call on the field stood because possession was starting to be lost by Savage before that knee did hit the ground.
Well, the play that we just saw was made by the Big 12's defensive freshman of the year last season. The guy that led the Cowboys in stops. You can understand why. Now it's going to be 3rd and 9 from the 16. Play fake. It'll be a middle screen to Lane. Hit from behind. He's down inside the 5 for a 1st and goal. Well, Nathan Peterson caught it from behind, the senior from Tulsa. It was too late.
Yeah, Oklahoma State ran a 3-man front and got a Texas A&M Aggie hurt at about the 5-yard line. But look at the middle of the field, open up here. They had a 3-man rush, even though the pressure was there. 2 linemen on 1 defender. I mean, that was a great call against that particular defensive front, and they ran the middle screen to perfection. And the only guy that was there to make a play on it was Andre Sexton. And he was double teamed by offensive linemen and could not make a play on it. Had to be caught from behind.
Well, unfortunately, there is an injured Aggie down to the field. One of your guys.
Yeah, that's big Andrew, or who is that? 76. Okay,
Michael
that's
Schumard,
Michael Schumard.
right?
Yeah.
Sophomore out of Fort Hood.
That's not good. They're looking at that knee, and obviously he's in some pain.
He's in the rotation behind the starters, and on that right side, Yoder is the starter at right guard.
When you're around piles, sometimes your leg gets caught in an uncompromising position, and here he is. He's going to be involved. He's going to hustle into the play, and right there he just gets he gets taken down on a shot that he never saw coming. And you know, you're playing off a block, and Terrence Anderson was playing off his block. He got thrown to the ground. As he got thrown to the ground, he just buckled the big lineman who never saw it coming.
So 1st and goal inside the 5. And the Aggies finally punch it in for the first time tonight. 6 minutes gone in the 3rd. Design quarterback run. McGee upended at the 4. Coming off the edge, Levine again. A guy who shifted from outside to inside at middle linebacker. Nathan.
Texas A&M doing a good job at the line of scrimmage, hooking people, getting people buckled up. And that looked like the John Elway helicopter run in the Super Bowl when Elway went airborne and got hit and spun around a little bit. And that's what McGee did. He went airborne and he got like a reverse helicopter shot.
Power formation in there. And the only wide receiver, Lane up the middle. Look out. He's there. Touchdown, Texas A&M. And did they give it to him? I thought he was in. They pushed him sideways, but it looked like the ball had broken the plane. And now they're not going to give it to him. It'll be 3rd goal inches away.
Well, they'll give it to him on 3rd down, that's for sure. They'll try to let the
now
big
you be the judge on this one. It looked like he was there.
But this is just a big back lowering his shoulder pads and surging. They're going to look at that one. His whole body was in the end zone. The ball had to be. That one looked like he crossed the plane of the goal line. As he just surges forward, the whole pile goes backwards. But that one, the first shot right down the line gives a real good look at it. But they're going to run it again on 3rd and short.
It'll be 3rd and goal. See if he can punch it in this time.
They are looking at it.
See, I thought the ball was on the goal line.
And remember, just the tip of the ball has to cross the very front of the goal line. The whole ball doesn't have to cross.
The previous play is under review.
Now, is it going to be conclusive anyway, though?
And right now, Oklahoma State is leaking oil. You know, they had the turnover. They've had field position problems, and Texas A&M's been in the red zone twice. Let's see, this is right down the goal line. Jaworski Lane, you see him drive his whole upper body is in the end zone. The ball has to be somewhere in his upper body. That has to be a touchdown. I don't know how they couldn't give him that one. I mean, remember, it doesn't matter where Jaworski Lane's body is, but the ball, if the very tip of the ball crosses the very front tip of the goal line, it's a touchdown. The whole ball doesn't have to cross the whole goal line.
It's got to be.
And if they don't give
indisputable evidence,
it has to be
to overturn it.
But they have to spot it at the half-inch line, Joel, if they don't give him a touchdown. I mean, where do they spot that ball? I mean, it's like, how short would it be?
As far as I'm concerned, Clete Blakeman has been on the headphones way too much time. 7:41 to play.
I know he got closer than that to the goal line. They got to move it up where the official's foot is. It's got to be there if he's not in. I mean, it's just short of the paint now. You can slide a credit card through there. It's that close.
It seems almost impossible when his body is on the goal line that the ball did not break the plane.
265 pounds, lowers his body and gets the whole upper body to the end zone. I mean, that can't not be a touchdown. His whole waist is into the goal line.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
You got to be kidding me.
At least they're consistent.
You got to be kidding me. You really have to be kidding me. And they're going to spot the ball that short. Oh, well.
Now here's the last thing you need. A poor exchange with their quarterback. Anytime you snap the ball, something bad can happen too.
My question is, was Jaworski Lane carrying the ball between his knees? Because that's the only way he didn't score if the ball was between his knees on the carry.
Jaworski Lane behind Chris Alexander. Lane untouched. It's official. Touchdown, Texas A&M.
I'll tell you what, to walk into the end zone from the 1 foot line like that, that's a good job by the big boys up front. And you got to tip your cap to the big fellas. And it's a one-score game now. Jaworski Lane scores his 9th rushing touchdown of the season. And that's nothing fancy. That's just big old double isolation block, hammering it up in there inside. Roderick Johnson was in the backfield. He smoked it up in there with a nice little lead block, as did Kendall. Smoking it up inside there.
Only one snap, though. There's the
Chris
bottom
Alexander
line
with a
for
great
Mike Gundy's squad. They've only had one snap the second half.
That's what turnovers will do for you.
17-10. Brand new ball game. 10 straight for the Aggies. Shy of their own 20. The last scoring drive took only 17 yards. Better than 3 minutes. Seemed a lot longer. I guess the reviews will do that.
Yeah, reviews will do that. With 6 plays, I mean, giving grounds grudgingly right there, less than 3 yards per play. But the point is, Texas A&M punched in the end zone, and it's now a one-score game. And now the crowd is back into the game, so the 12th man becomes a huge factor that Oklahoma State has to deal with adversity-wise.
Yeah, what about the wrecking crew? Because they gave up about 300 yards in the first half. The Aggie defense. Bowman, you could see it coming. He's got a first down across the 28. They wanted an illegal block down the line. They didn't get the call. It's out to the 30 for a first down and a gain of about 12.
And Zach Robinson got drilled after he threw that football to Bowman.
And they're going to say he stepped out 2 yards shy. So Bowman thought he got it to the 30. Well, they saw it to the 26. 8 yards on the reception. Single to the backfield, Savage. Bowman the motion man again. Savage short side. He's got the first down. He's not out of bounds. Across the 30, out to the 33. Downstairs we go. Jim Knox.
All right, Joel. You and Dave are going like this. Time for the Jack Links Wall fan of the game. This is pretty good. They got posters, but we come down here. I got to pick these two guys. What do you call yourself? Wolf fan right there, guys. The Jack Links Wolf fans of the game right there for you.
Man, that's what all that academic dollar investment does for you right there. It's big. Tuition at its best.
Weston 10 to 33 of Oklahoma State.
I love it.
How do they handle the adversity in a hostile environment? That's going to be critical. Nothing on that shot. And shot down. Dantrell Savage. A play by Red Bryant. Big Red has plugged a few gaps, hasn't he?
Well, one thing that we wanted, that Oklahoma State wanted to do, Coach Gundy says, we wanted to start the game quickly, and they got out to a 17-0 lead and quieted the crowd. But now A&M answering with 10 straight points. The crowd is right back in the thick of it.
So 2nd and 9 from the 34. Late signals from the bench for Oklahoma State. Zach Robinson. Pocket holds up, almost intercepted. He went for the tight end Pettigrew.
Got a hold.
And it is a flag down in the play.
Got 2 flags.
Almost intercepted, though, by Tupe.
The umpire and the official saw the same thing. The referee and the umpire both saw the same thing. They both threw a flag. And they're conferring with the line judge as well.
Chop block against the offense, number 61. It's a 15-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
David Koenig, and when one offensive lineman has the defensive lineman engaged, you cannot cut his legs while the other offensive lineman still has him engaged in the upper body. Let's take a look at what Koenig does here. Now, as he comes off, right there, high-low, accordion block, chop block. Tackle had him high, he cut him low.
Yeah, but he turned his back on him.
Yeah, but when one guy's engaged, the other guy can't hit him low. You can't hit at the same time. High-low, that's an illegal chop block and accordion block.
Big mark off, back to the 19. So 2nd and forever. Savage. Pop big time right at the 20. Tupe again. Macy's all over it. The senior from St. George.
Well,
and that St. George, Utah transfer from Dixie College.
Tupe and Dodge are the oldest tandem in college football. Dodge turns 26 years old this December. Actually, I think he's going to turn 27 in December. He had a stint in the military, and Tupe had a Mormon mission. So both of them are experienced, savvy, veteran guys.
Dodge had 4 years in the Army before he started his dream of playing college football. Now 3rd down and better than 20. The draw. Can he get there? Incredible run. Savage got the first down.
Amazing.
Hard to believe.
You know,
Greg finally got to him, but he waited. He showed patience to weave his way outside and to the right.
On a call like this, 3rd and 22, you automatically think draw and screen and try to get something and punt it away. Savage says, I'll run the draw and I'll get a first down. And that's just an individual run of brilliance, making people miss. That's outstanding.
That's a 25-yard run for Savage. Kendall Hunter, he won't go down with the first hit. And he's got another first down for the Cowboys.
You know, Texas A&M coach is going to say, we're missing tackles. Gary Darnell is saying, guys, we can't miss tackles. Sometimes the running backs are that good where you miss tackles. And on these 2 runs, Savage and Hunter, miss tackle, balance, get the left arm down, balance yourself up, and go. That is just an unbelievable play, back-to-back running backs.
So it looked like everything was working and going back to the Aggies. Now, plus territory. Again, it's Hunter making the most of another first down carry. He got 9 inside the 35 with a late flag coming from the referee. How about that for a true freshman? One man on a titer.
I think at some point you got to let guys play, and he's calling Oklahoma State again. I'll tell you what, you guys don't get paid by the flag here. It's a good football game. Let it go.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the offense, number 60. Late hit. It's a 15-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Koenig has gotten a legal chop block and now a late hit. And this is a veteran lineman that you can't imagine that he would lose his poise like he has.
And it came out very late.
You know what? He may have retaliated. A lot of times they don't catch the first hit, they catch the retaliation. And Koenig may have retaliated. Unfortunate.
Back to the 49. It's going to be 2nd and 16, close to 17. The gun again for Robinson, keeping 2 in there, faking it and wanting to go the other way on the screen. Dump off, and not much available. Keith Toston's first touch of the game. as he's pushed out of bounds after a gain of about a yard, maybe 2, down to the 47. That was Gore, the corner on that side. First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com. With the convenience of shopping at home, you can save up to 70% on amazing deals from Overstock.com. It is all about the O. And another 3rd and long, Dave. 3rd and about 13.
Well, you have a situation where Savage overcame Koenig's chop block mistake on 3rd and 22 at the draw play. His magnificent run. Will they overcome Koenig's personal foul and maintain the drive? If they do, that's unheard of.
Pocket holds up for Zach Robinson. Middle of the field up Darius Bowman. First down. You figure they end up bracket him. Double him off the line. He gets free anyway to the 26.
Well, right now, the drive is 25 yards longer than it will be at the conclusion because there's been 2 major penalties, an illegal chop block, actually 30 yards, illegal chop block and a personal foul. And Oklahoma State has overcome both of those major penalties. Unbelievable poise in a hostile environment.
It's down to the 26. Fresh set of downs for the Cowboys, starting back at their own 18. So the first sustained drive of the second half. The delay. Savage again with space. Close to another first down, and he'll get it. He won't quit on the play, will he? He took a man on his back for another 14 or another 3-4 yards.
Joel, I said it earlier. This kid is hurry.
That's Devin Gregg on his back.
He missed 2.5 games, and he doesn't want to miss any more games. And you know what? He's like, hey, this is my last hurrah. You know, I'm a senior. I don't have any more football in college, at the college level. He'll probably be in somebody's camp in the NFL, but he wants to finish in a flurry as a senior at Oklahoma State.
Hunter takes over. On a 1st and 10, inside the 12. And they wanted to make sure he was healthy before he came back. We talked to Mike Gundy that week a few times that week about Savage.
They were patient with him.
Mix over the backfield, and Robinson goes down. The running back went one way. He thought the handoff was going the other, and it's a loss back to the 16.
And Hunter clapped his hands. Hunter made a mistake. It was an underneath handoff, and Hunter went to the wrong side of Robinson. Robinson looks at Hunter like, what are you thinking? He reverses out, and Hunter's supposed to be the other way. And now Robinson's just trying to hit the hole that was called and trying to make something out of nothing and couldn't. And Hunter knew right away. Hunter slapped his hands and said, man, that was a mental error by me. He's on the sideline right now.
Loss of 4. They've had some setbacks on this drive. As you mentioned, the 2 15-yarders, and now on 1st and 10. A breakdown completely. Savage back into the game after 1 snap off. Put up at the tight end as well, Pettigrew. Robinson with the heat coming, goes the other way for Savage and throws it into the ground. But will we have a defensive holding call? Bowman was working against the safety, Alton Dixon.
Yeah, will they call Dixon or will they call Bowman? They're not going to call offensive pass interference, are they? They were locked up down there, and it was a good call to run the screen because it was an all-out blitz, and the body language of Oklahoma State indicates it's going against A&M.
Holding on the defense, number 9. The holding was against an eligible receiver, and the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. Therefore, by rule, it's an automatic first down.
Now you called one hold that went on down the field on the big receiver Bowman. Here's the other hold on Pettigrew. And watch the release. You can't grab him. You know, now Pettigrew's got a free release, and so he's grabbing him and grabbing the jersey and holding on to dear life. So that's what the call was.
So Dixon with the call. It's down to the 8 where it's 1st and goal. 7-point lead for Oklahoma State. And a wild start to the second half.
And if they finish this drive with a touchdown, it'll be 100. It'll be like a Canadian Football League drive. It'll be over 100 yards with the penalties.
Savage in the eye. Got Zach Carter in front of him. We haven't seen a fullback all that often in this formation. Savage trying to turn the corner. Makes a miss. Boy, he won't quit. What a motor. Down to the 1. It'll be 2nd and goal there. Whistles are slow around here tonight, aren't they?
And he lost his helmet. And Savage still, he doesn't care. Give me the helmet. My mouthpiece is all wonka jaw. I don't have my helmet, but I love it. I love this game.
He's a senior from Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, man, he is motivated to play tonight. Almost hitting the 100-yard mark. And, you know, you make a great move, and you can't arm tackle. You can't just stick the right arm out and think you're going to take Savage down and in space one-on-one. Whoop, I'm going to cut inside of you and lower my shoulder.
Savage stays in the backfield. 2nd and goal at the one. Slide the fullback Carter. Savage over the top.
Wow.
Close.
Batman.
Inches away.
Spider-Man, Batman, he's a superhero. Superman, he's old.
No cape. No cape involved. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Somebody put a cape on him, though, because he is playing like a superhero.
Well, you wish. He's 5'9". You wish you had his vertical. What are you, about 6'5"?
Yeah. Watch him. He'll take off. Whoop, he takes off at the 4-yard line and up and away. Now the ball doesn't cross the goal. It's close. Ooh. It's real close to the goal line. That might be reviewable as well, the way they're reviewing things tonight.
Now 3rd and goal. Savage. So he trying the high jump again. Savage break down again, and Robinson sacked back of the 9.
Savage thought the call was one thing, Robinson was another. And you have a communication breakdown. There's probably a check from the sideline that everybody didn't get. Savage hangs his head. Savage did not get the play change. And boy, it's too bad that he didn't get the play call, because he was thinking it was going to be a toss, a pitch, and Robinson was looking for him to come downhill to take the handoff. And after all of that, Oklahoma State has to settle for the field goal opportunity to still give him a 2-score lead, though.
Well, Ricks already has a 32-yarder. This is going to be a 24-yard attempt. Out of the hold of Cole Reynolds. Good exchange. And it's a 10-point advantage for the Cowboys.
Joel, on that drive, Koenig had 2 15-yard penalties, a illegal chop and a personal foul. Hunter went the wrong way on a running play. Savage did the wrong thing on a running play, and they still almost scored. I mean, Oklahoma State was their own worst enemy on this drive, and they still almost overcame all that to punch in the end zone, and they get the chip shot field goal.
So that guy's not frustrated at all right now on the sideline.
He's like, man, we're making it too hard on ourselves.
It's a 20-10 lead for the Cowboys. The only 2 left undefeated in the South getting together tonight. 1997, Oklahoma State 19-25, Texas A&M. They were both top 25. It was right here at College Station. Man, A&M rallying from a 15-point fourth quarter deficit to win it. That was the first overtime game in Big 12 history, in fact. And they won it right here at Kyle, 28-25. They've had some good ones. In fact, you look back at the series, and even though A&M leads at 16-6, they had a long time where they didn't get together. They went from 39 into the 80s. Finally, Jimmy Johnson came down here, and it was their first appearance since 1939. And in 1983, their first appearance, they won the game with Jimmy Johnson as the head coach for Oklahoma State.
And you saw Koenig on the sideline, big number 61 with the red hair. He's the one that had the 30 yards in penalty. And he's feeling badly right now, because if he didn't have one of those penalties, it would be a touchdown on the board. But you got to tighten up. You can't lose your poise out there.
It'll get into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. That was a shot we didn't need. From the 20, who's working that man's cut corner? Who's in the corner, blue or the red? That was the red corner. Now McGee, final play of the quarter, sending Bennett down the sideline. Instead, he'll take it himself, and he gets good yardage. Both quarterbacks can run. That was one of the keys. Can you contain the cornerback coming in? And that's their footwork overall.
And that's just an outstanding job making a quick decision. McGee at the quarterback position.
Bennett was covered. He wanted his tight end to float down the sideline, though, and release. It turned out to be a blocker for him instead. So a 10-point deficit for A&M, but a lot closer than they were at halftime when they trailed by 17. We're through 3. College Football Saturday on FSN continues from College Station.
It's been a tale of 2 halves so far.
Now they spread the defense, get him to jump, in fact, a free down from McGee. Go for it. He will, and it's behind Irvin Taylor. But a free 5. As Oklahoma State, a little too anxious, weren't they?
Yes, they were. They were listening to the quarterback instead of watching the football. Don't go for the voice inflection hard count. Move when the ball moves.
Offsides on the defense, number 13. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
He's a little bit frustrated.
Nathan Peterson.
A couple of good knocks to the noggin, and here they are jumping. Actually, he jumped because his defensive tackle jumped first. And McGee, just with a non-rhythmic hard count, put him on a rope and tugged him across the line of scrimmage.
He's a solid player. Isn't he? Fifth in the Big 12 in sacks last year. Honorable mention all conference. It's going to be Goodson. He's been quiet so far, and it continues to be that way. On 1st and 5, they'll push him out after a gain of 4 at the 49. But we talk about thunder and lightning. You know what you're going to get from Jaworski Lane. When are you going to get the home run ball, though, from Mike Goodson?
Yeah, that's a good point. In that time, you know, they probably felt, A&M felt like, hey, we've pounded it up inside quite a bit. Let's just get to the edge. Oklahoma State did a great job of staying on their feet, and they got stretched on the play, but nobody ever hit the ground, and there was no cutback lane for Goodson to take advantage of.
The opening minute of the fourth, a 10-point lead for Oklahoma State. Trying to start conference play at 2-0 for only the 3rd time in the 12 years of Big 12 play. McGee right on the first down marker. Remember, they only needed 5 yards on 3 snaps. Neathon in on that stop. Now coming in, the only undefeated ones in the South, A&M and Oklahoma State. Huge win for Oklahoma, though. Everybody's favorite along with Texas coming in. Hard to believe Texas starts 0-2.
Somebody's going to come out of this 2-0, and Texas has to come uphill from 0-2. Now, you know, you talk to a lot of coaches and you think the Big 12 South, there may be 2 losses to the Big 12 South winner. I'm sure Oklahoma and others will have something to say about that, but Oklahoma does have a loss to Colorado in the Big 12.
It's 3rd, at about a foot. Goodson, the only one to the backfield. It'll be McGee, and he's got it over the right side. Right between his center and guard. He lunged in time. So they'll move the chains. It's a 10-point, 2-score game. So all of a sudden, time becomes an issue. If it's a long, consuming drive for Texas A&M. And they don't forget, in the first 2 minutes of the second half, they used a timeout.
And also, Joel, in the very beginning, the first 5 minutes of the second half, they threw the ball down the field. I mean, you know, they threw on first down. They stretched the field a little bit. They stressed Oklahoma State's defense. They don't seem to be doing that anymore. It's still a 2-score game. They don't have to throw their game plan out the window by any stretch of the imagination, but just being a little contrarian, throwing on first down some, had a nice little mix in that first drive.
They double up the wide receivers, wide side, same side of the field. Jaworski Lane wants to throw. He's got a man wide open. Wow. It's Franks. Touchdown. A&M.
Jaworski Lane says the Savage can do it. I can do it better.
And Franks held on that time.
Jaworski Lane has a gun. That ball was in the air over 50 yards. I mean, the ball was just a heck of a throw by Jaworski Lane. I mean, the big man has a cannon, and he just put it airborne, and almost a fair catch rule. And it beaten so badly, waiting for the football to come down. Franks probably thought, is it ever going to get here? And it hung up in the air so long that a recovery was almost made by Sexton. He almost got back to the football, but couldn't quite get there. Franks made an adjustment to it and cradled it for the touchdown. Jaworski Lane with the big, he almost brought rain. That thing was up and away.
Yeah, they're taking a look to see if his knee was down before the ball entered. I thought it was simultaneous.
Yeah, as he stretches out, being taken down, is the ball over the plane of the goal line as that right knee hits. The ball has to cross the plane. Oh, it's not. He's short. He's short. That's not a touchdown. His knee hits down, and the ball doesn't cross the goal line.
That means the play will stand. We'll be right back to College Station with 13:34 left.
A&M with Lane, and the ball is just slightly underthrown because he threw it a million miles in the air. Now, does he get in? Does the ball cross the plate? No. Before the knee is down? No, it's short. It's short of the goal line. So
been that kind of night.
We'll see. It'll stand.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed.
Oh, my goodness.
The receiver's knee hit the ground before the ball crossed the goal line. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal.
Cowboy fans were saying, wait a minute, wasn't his knee down too?
Yeah, right. Jaworski Lane does not get his second touchdown pass of his career, but he'll probably get his 10th rushing touchdown because they'll give it to the big boy right now and say, you set us up with a pass, you finish it with a run, big fella.
Lane's going to be in the backfield. just 270 pounds. You don't find many running backs like that, do you?
I'm telling you, that's the bus, but that's bigger than the bus. That's an RV. That's an RV unit right there.
Lane with Alexander. Another 255, 260 guy.
Little power eye formation.
It'll be Lane left side. This time he's in. Touchdown Texas A&M. New game.
Well, he set himself up with the pass to the shadow of the goal line and then finished. Don't they kiss their dates anymore? I didn't see a whole lot. I would have been all over my date. Are you kidding me? That's a touchdown. Joel, what do you think?
The collie's here for you.
Pucker up, Joel.
The collie's here for you. Extra point makes it a 3-point game. 13-20 to play in the fourth. Well, it was not a 50-yarder. It was a 49-yard pass by Jaworski Lane. That set it all up. Yeah, what a night for college football in College Station.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Kerry Franks, he wanted a fair catch this thing, but he caught it, and he got a knee down at the 1-yard line. Then Lane says, okay, I'll finish. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. I'm in. How do you tackle him at the 1-yard line? No thanks.
College football Saturday on FSN continues. Aggie Land. Texas A&M plays host to Oklahoma State. You were looking for it.
Oh, yeah. Now that's meaningful. They have to be engaged, or they should be. He's kissing everybody.
Work in the room, and this is a big room.
Yeah.
20-17. It was a 17-0 halftime deficit for A&M. Back deep, Toasted, the running back, along with wide receiver Tommy Devereaux. Mansky gets into it. Does he ever? That'll stay in the end zone. So from the 20, been long fields for Oklahoma State every time they've had it in the second half. Let's head down to Jim Knox.
All right, Joe, guess what? You know, Jaworski Lane takes his seat on the bench. They weren't congratulating him on the touchdown. They were congratulating him on that almost touchdown pass. Jaworski Lane, quite an arm. Also, guys, keep your eyes on Mark Dodge, number 50 of Texas A&M, the fine linebacker. During that last long series, he was on the bench throwing down energy bars, also Gatorade. He is dehydrated right now. Keep your eyes on number 50.
All righty.
Oklahoma State led early and often. They put it together at the end of the second half. Got 17 consecutive on 3 possessions. But now it's trimmed down to 3. Pretty play fake by Robinson. Can he make a miss? In trouble. Ducked it off and almost got it out. And there's a pop at the end of the play.
Incomplete.
It was incomplete all the way. He tried to get it to his running back. And Robinson a little bit shaken up as well.
Yeah, he's hurt. He took one right in the solar plexus now. And Texas A&M lit up the fake, the running back, will light up the quarterback, and then light up the receiver. Texas A&M is playing like the wrecking crew. Oh, they're just smoking people. I mean, Robinson got double teamed on that one. He took a hit high-low, and he is struggling. He's on his keister trying to get himself composed, and Bobby Reed is going to enter the football game.
That was Bobby Reed who went down to the opener at Georgia, and it was Zach Robinson who came off the bench.
And of course, Bobby Reed is the player that Mike Gundy defended. We were surprised, Joel, on game day, the Texas Tech Oklahoma State game. The lead story on game day was Bobby Reed and why he wasn't quarterbacking anymore, and he'd been demoted to second string, and he got pretty much attacked. And after the game at the press conference, Mike Gundy came to defense of his quarterback Bobby Reed, and it's gotten 700,000 hits on YouTube. But Mike Gundy and that man right there, Bobby Reed, are very close now. I mean, Reed has to know that Gundy's in his corner, and Zach Robinson is trying to recover.
And it was actually, Dave, the second game where Robinson took over for Reed.
Right.
And they decided to make the switch at that point.
Yeah, Robinson was the quarterback before the Texas A&M game, exactly. Oh, man.
And then Tupe gets a shot in as well. We're making Anthony Lewis at the end on Pettigrew, the tight end. And that was a free one.
And Henry Smith got a shot on the high shot. He got a shot right in the face mask, right in the grill of Zach Robinson. I think Robinson had to sit down because he may be woozy. The shot that he took right in the face from the big defensive lineman, Henry Smith, I think really shook him up.
Now remember, Bobby Reed started all 13 last year, hit 55% for better than 22, almost 2,300 yards, 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He is a talented young man.
He's a great athlete at the quarterback position.
A junior from Houston, goes at 6'3", 235. And he's going to throw on his first snap in the dump off, wide open. Big play out to the 40. The running back, Savage, and check that, Toasted. That's his second catch, second touch of the game.
You know, when you think about it, Bobby Reed under fire and Toasted for fumbling. But this will give Bobby Reed's confidence in his feet underneath him. Watch Toasted as he releases. Little check down. Bobby Reed, it's an easy pass, wide open. They lost track of the guy that was play fake to, and Toasted makes a great play to get him out of bad field position.
Now it's going to be Kendall Hunter taking over. They bunch three on the left side, including the fullback Carter and the tight end. Go the other way with Hunter. Stretch it. He'll make the man miss. Nice spin. He just ducked under it, didn't he? Past the 45, close to the 46 for a gain of 5. Dodge caught up with him.
Hunter is 5'8", and Hunter's got that low center of gravity, and Hunter just ducks underneath the big defensive lineman. Take it outside, whoop, right under your head, right under your arm. I'm going to duck my head and pick up yards. That should have been a tackle for loss. Whoa, I'm underneath, and I'm coming out. That's amazing. What a run. Very, very creative.
It's a 3-point ball game. 3 minutes gone and counting in the fourth. What an atmosphere.
It's the best.
Reed on 2nd and 5. A bullet and almost picked off. It was read by the corner on that side. It was Jordan Pugh, their whip, and he saw it going to Bowman.
Well, Bobby Reed locked in on Bowman, and all you have to do is watch Bobby Reed's eyes, and Pugh knows, here it comes. As he looks at Reed's eyes, he undercut it and should have caught the football.
Should have been a pick.
Yeah, he's dejected that he did not catch that football to give his team a short field to operate with.
He's a sophomore out of Plano. Played as a true freshman all 13 last year. So he's got a lot of football ahead of him.
A check coming from the Oklahoma State sideline again. All the audibles and checks come from the coaches on the sideline.
Savage is back into the game. It's 3rd, don't forget, and 5. Reed in trouble. And down he goes. The sack belongs to Dodge.
And Noxie was talking about Dodge eating one of those power bars, and he got some power on that one. You saw Zach Robinson got cut. They were working on Zach Robinson's eye. The shot he took from the defensive lineman opened up a wound. And here's Bobby Reed, nowhere to go with the football. And I mean, Texas A&M dropped everybody back in coverage. Bobby Reed tries to create. There's nowhere to go with the ball, and Dodge makes a big, big play. It's his his first sack of the season came in a timely fashion.
At 5, running. Peterson waits. Not a long one. Man, it'll be Peterson taking it past the 35. Bumped out of bounds. Great field position for the Aggies when we come back. And a new game. They have all the momentum, trailing by only 3. Crossover. Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, Jim Knox. And what a night to be in College Station. Well, they posted the upset of the day. USC losing in their 35-game home winning streak. It's over. They lost to Stanford.
Jim Harbaugh. Wow.
And the shots he took earlier that were directed in the general direction of the Trojans. Now McGee coming back. He's got Pierre Brown. First down. Took a while to develop, but you can see it from way up here. We've got coaches footage. We're so high up.
No question. It was a rollout, semi-roll to the right hash mark, a throwback pass to the left sideline. And he runs a crossing pattern from that right hash mark. So it's great misdirection. Roll the quarterback out to the right, throw back to the left sideline. The receiver starts from the right side, runs a shallow or a medium-range crossing pattern, like a shallow post underneath. Great execution, great scheme.
It's like a shallow diagonal.
Yeah, about a 45-degree.
From the 37, a first down for the Aggies. All they need is 3 to get even. Option, wide side of the field. Goodson breaking a tackle, taking him on for about 8. He bowls into the secondary. Bowled over Ricky Price. Let's get an update on Zach Robinson. Noxie?
All right, Joe, right now still on the bench. Trainers surrounding him. It looks like, yes, he caught something in his right eye. Also wears contacts, so maybe a scratch. We don't want to speculate, but he did look like his equilibrium was a little off. Almost actually fell on the bench here, but it looks like Bobby Reed could be going the rest of the way. Zach Robinson definitely in some pain due to that right eye.
I'll tell you, Henry Smith lit him up, hit him up right in his face mask, and I bet that helmet caved a little bit.
2nd and 2. Lane back into the lineup. It's going to be their J-Train. Big hole up the middle. Backwards, he'll take an extra 5. Talking with a switch, it's almost like a different game. First game, here's Oklahoma State. Second game so far, it's been A&M. Lacey had to bring him down to the secondary.
It is a classic Charles Dickens tale of two halves. And this is where Jaworski Lane pays off. Defenses get tired in the second half. You start pounding, and big old Jaworski Lane is as big as his offensive lineman. So they start to push on Oklahoma State's undersized defensive line, and then Jaworski Lane follows it up. And, man, it's tough to stop the J-Train.
It's like hitting a sled, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Trying to get it. 1st and 10 from the 17. McGee, good deception. Not as much as I thought at the outset of the play. He got it down to the 12 for about 5. It looked like it was going to be big, though.
Did you hear the pads thumping when Jaworski Lane on the fake, on the dive fake on the option? They converged on Jaworski Lane, and he just loaded those shoulder pads and thumped a few and made that spare. I mean, they'd fly off of him like bowling pins off a bowling ball.
66 yards. It's the collective, though, as we mentioned. The threesome out of the backfield. McGee, Lane, and Goodson averaged 213 per game.
Another red zone opportunity. What will happen on this one?
Bunch. And now bring the tight end Bennett in motion. Short side toss sweep. Little action. And not much available for Kerry Franks as Sexton stayed at home, the safety. Very strong play. Talk about assignment responsibility on an option.
Yep.
That was Sexton.
Everybody stayed home, and the option was well designed. As you mentioned, to the short side of the field, to the boundary side of the field, not to the field side. And if Bennett makes this block a little bit stronger, he took a poor angle, and as a result of the big boy not making any contact whatsoever, you have Andre Sexton right there in space and making a big hit.
They started the game 1 for 5. So right now, as you see 5 of 12, they've done a much better job in the second half. Now on 3rd and about 3.5. Play fake. Heat in the middle. Jaworski Lane. Touchdown, Texas A&M, and their first lead of the contest.
Jaworski Lane rushes for 2 and catches a middle screen. Second middle screen that A&M has run, and they run it to perfection. Nobody's near the big boy. Nobody at home. Perfect call in the red zone. Take a bow, Texas A&M.
Zemansky, huge extra point. Not just 3, but a 4-point lead. So a different game for Stephen McGee. What a comeback so far for A&M. We'll be back at College Station after this word from Dr. Pepper. Zemansky kicks it away. Toasted far side. Devereaux near side. Will they have a return? Tommy Devereaux wants to bring it out. Was it a wise decision? Tripped up and down at the 12. Well, we talked earlier tonight about what developed earlier this week and what was exposed on Tuesday with the email newsletter. Coach Franchione. We asked him earlier this week, though, could this negative, and it was definitely a negative, eventually, in the big picture for his team, turn out to be a positive?
It could be. You know, I think in every season you're going to be faced with 2 or 3 major challenges, and as I tell the team clear back during 2-a-days, how you face those is to really determine how you face your year. And every team's going to have things to deal with. And this could be one of those that we look back on and say that this was really what brought this team even closer together than I think they already are.
And Joel, in that situation, I've been in teams where you face a big piece of adversity and it galvanizes you when you overcome it. And the football team becomes stronger, and like Coach Fran said, closer. So we shall see. I mean, and you know, the guy that's really been the big impetus in the second half, Jaworski Lane's almost hit for the cycle. He rushed for 2, he caught one, and he came within 1 yard of throwing for a touchdown. So how about that big boy?
And they needed it. Goodson has not been as efficient as we have seen him in the past, so it was up to 2 of the 3. Their big 3 out of the backfield. McGee, Goodson, and Jaworski Lane. 6 in the first half for Dantrell Savage. Was almost put to the ground by Bobby Reed. Savage close, but about a foot shy of where he needed to go. It almost got away on the snap to Bobby Reed. On the first down line. All brought to you by Overstock.com. Luke Bennett with savings up to 70% on amazing deals from Overstock.com. It is all about the O. How big is this third down?
Massive.
And now will we get a measurement? They'll bring in the chains. I was waiting for a review. 7:05 left in regulation. 3 timeouts remaining for Oklahoma State. 2 for Texas A&M. And it looked short when they placed it, and it is about a foot shot.
Yeah, in a game like this, a close game like this, you know, having to burn a timeout early in the second half, will it come back to be a factor or not? And Mike Gundy is keeping his poise and trying to keep his football team poised. And Robinson, again, took the big hit, and the hit that just damaged him was Henry Smith, the big defensive lineman, 6'3", 315 pounds, hit him high, right in his face mask. And that's the hit that damaged Zach Robinson.
So it's going to be 3rd and a foot. They've only got him 100 yards total offense in the second half. That's how dramatically it has all changed. Oklahoma State had close to 300 at the break. They've got 397 for the game compared to 355 for A&M. 50% so far tonight. Need to be better than that after this snap. Savage stays as the single. With a jumbo look on the right side. Plenty of time, and they get it. I looked up at the play clock, and it hadn't even started because they didn't put it back into play. But on the sneak, it is a first down, and they've got a very athletic quarterback back there, the junior from Houston.
You know, Joel, you wouldn't believe this, but Jaworski Lane's middle screen reception, his first touchdown reception of his career. The boy has rushed for a ton of touchdowns, but has never caught one, and that's his first. And what a timely one to make his team take a 4-point lead.
And came into the game with 36 career scores.
Rushing, right. Not receiving.
A little play fake, misdirection, sets it up beautifully. Bowman taken down to the open field. And that is a huge play out in open space. Carpenter got him.
Excellent.
The corner out of Melbourne, Florida, only a junior.
Excellent open field play. Because as we've seen, Bowman has size, speed, balance. And he gets out in space, and Gary Darnell's thinking, uh-oh, he's one-on-one. And the blocker can't get there in time, and Carpenter takes him down.
In at 6, almost 7. Bobby Reed sets up Bowman in the slot on the far side, the wide side. That's the guy they've got to worry about. They killed him. Then 108 yards on 3 catches in the first half. Maneuvering his way up the middle, Savage, nothing available. They'll give him the 31. They'll be short of the first down by a little more than 2.5.
And that man right there, Henry Smith,
Red
Bryant, and Henry Smith is the one that put the big hit on Robinson that has Bobby Reed in the football game right now.
And they're on their feet once again. Doesn't take much around here.
No.
More than 5 to play. Another huge third down. They converted on 3rd and a foot, but now they need close to 3. Bobby Reed keeps Savage in the backfield. Little shovel pitch. What a call. Savage making a miss into the secondary. Wow. Beyond the 50 and bumped out with a flag right where you normally see a face mask, where they grab the grill.
Yep.
Dixon finally caught up. Quite a call offensively by Oklahoma State.
Absolutely, Joel. And will this face mask be 5 or 15? Was it grabbed and tugged, or was it grabbed and let go? Is it going to be 5 or 15 on this face mask?
Face mask on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
It's incidental. It's not a personal foul. And, boy, as you described, Joel, when they're going to pressure the quarterback like Red Bryant Company is, a little shovel pass is an outstanding call to get Savage in space. And when Savage is in space, he's a beast. And you see Gore with the definite face mask.
And let them over-pursue themselves right out of the play.
Right.
And that's what they did. From the 36 after the mark-off. First down, Oklahoma State is toasting. Is giving Savage a break. He's in the backfield.
Doesn't look like Bobby Reed is scared to me.
Little play fake, middle of the field. Now flag comes out as Bowman was bumped down. And it was actually Pettigrew at about the 22.
And Dodge and Pettigrew got locked up. And a lot of times when it's just feet and legs locking up, there's no call. Let's see what Dodge does. And here he is. Oh, yeah. I mean, you kidding me? You can't do that. I mean, that was clear. And you certainly can't knock the guy down as he's the primary receiver in the route.
It's just a coverage play.
On the defense, number 50. It's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, Dodge got his money's worth, though. I mean, it wasn't a ticky-tack. He knocked Pettigrew into next Tuesday.
He's a strong side backer, so he does get the tight end.
Now, you know, it's like, okay, I can't let Pettigrew get a free release. I think I'll just take him down to the ground. And that's who Bobby Reed is trying to get the football to.
This drive started back at the Cowboys 12. It's a 1st and 10 at the 21 of A&M. 4:51 left. They've got Kendall Hunter in the backfield. Huge hole for the kid up the middle. And I say kid because he's a true freshman. Right out of high school in Tyler, Texas. Brought down by Dixon.
Outstanding athlete. He's got tremendous vision. He makes the right cut 95% of the time, which is high.
Doesn't run himself out of plays.
No, he lets his people work in front of him. And how about Bobby Reed? Here he is averaging over 8 yards a carry. How about Bobby Reed? Limited snaps with the #1 offense all week, and he's in at the most critical time, and he's showing poise, patience, and calmness.
He's got Hunter flanking him to the left. Looks over for a last-minute check from the sideline. Clock approaching the 4-minute mark, and now they've got the play clock coming down on them as well. Room for Des Bryant. He's got a 1st and goal. Inside the 10, he had space, a cushion on the corner on that side, working against Gore.
And Des Bryant is only 6'2", 210. Are you kidding me? Bowman is 6'4", 220. Des Bryant is 6'2", 210. And a very, very gifted wide receiver. They have got 2 guys that can stretch you on the outside in Des Bryant and Bowman. And then Pettigrew at tight end can damage you in the middle. They have weapons.
Savage coming back in. He put him in this position on 3rd and 3 with the shovel pitch. They went for big yardage.
And Matt Robinson obviously is not feeling well because he's not even up cheering his team. I'm not sure he knows where he is.
Now, the toss swing. Savage out of the boundary to the 5 and cracked out with a flag. Do you get a holding call out of the perimeter there?
Yeah, there was locked up there, and it didn't look like a face mask on Savage, but somebody really locked up on the lead block and took his defender out of bounds.
Devin Gregg forced out Savage at the 3.
Savage is hitting his hip like almost signaling like an illegal chop block or something.
Holding on the offense, number 87. The 10-yard penalty.
And he was the lead. We saw him engaged.
Yeah, Pettigrew locked up, and he's disappointed. He's upset because he felt he had his hands inside the framework of the body. And here's the big boy working. And he does. He has his hands inside the cantilever. But now, as Dixon, and he lets go. I'll tell you what, that's a very, very, very dicey call to make.
Big time. Inopportune time. With 3:35 to play, Reed slips screen Bowman. Breaking the tackle. Still on his feet and knocked out at about the 18. So he lost a couple of yards on the play. It looked like he was going to lose more, though. What an effort again by Darius Bowman.
He is so strong physically. Can't take him down. I'm going to make a linebacker miss, and I'm going to run another defensive back over. And all he did was run out of real estate.
Ran over Carpenter.
The sideline became the 12th man. If he had more sideline to work with, he probably would have scored.
3 does them no good. 3 timeouts on the board, but it's a 4-point deficit. 3:27 to play. Reed looking right. He's got Savage. And knocked out of bounds. At about the 8, just inside the 8. Michael Bennett was downfield. 3:21 to play. It'll be a 3rd and goal. Reed double clutches it. Look out from behind. Middle of the end zone. Ball batted away and almost intercepted. He had Pettigrew. Saving the day, though, Jordan Pugh.
Boy, the ball went airborne as Bobby Reed had to throw back to the middle of the field late. As he bought more time, he tried to create and could not put enough mustard on the football. Bobby Reed gets out of pocket, has to throw back across his body as he's getting hit, and the ball just floats. And Pettigrew almost gets it. That's just a good hustle play to recover back on the football by Pugh.
They'll go for 3, feeling like they can get it back on a 3 and out. If they need another 3, it could be the game winner. It'll be a 25-yard attempt. Ricks 2 for 2 tonight. Cole Reynolds is the holder. On its way to chip shot. So he's got the 25-yard field goal on a drive that started back after 12. We've got a 1-point game. The leaders in the Big 12 South. Down to the wire. Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. Short kick is going to be taken to the 15 by Kerry Franks. And Franks with good yardage across the 25. Out to the 30. So it's up to the Oklahoma State defensive unit. It's been a tumultuous week, though. Dave, as we talked about at the very top of the telecast for Coach Franchione, it all exploded on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, both teams began the season with lofty Big 12 South title expectations, then demoralizing road losses. Oklahoma State at Troy, A&M at Miami. Then Oklahoma State bounces back in a thriller against Texas Tech. A&M dominates Baylor. Head coach Mike Gundy defends an attack on his quarterback, Bobby Reed. Quarterback Stephen McGee defends his embattled head coach, Dennis Franchione. But with all that said, the winner tonight goes 2-0 and gets a leg up on the Big 12 South, which is wide open this year.
Texas 0-2 in conference play. Oklahoma now 1-1 with their win over the Longhorns today. 3:07 to play. 3 timeouts up for Oklahoma State, 2 for Texas A&M. McGee out of the gun will bring Jaworski Lane into the backfield. Can they run it out? Well, no, not this time. It'll be a gain of a yard. It's a good play on the back of Lane right away. Cummings. And our Suzuki honor roll. It focuses on today. Cody Wallace starting center for Texas A&M. Academic honor roll leadership council once again for Texas A&M.
That's a guy that understands time management. To be that effective in the classroom and on the field of play, that's one outstanding young man.
He's in his 3rd year as his starter. A very efficient player. All Big 12 performer. It's a gain of a yard, 2nd and 9 with the clock rolling against Oklahoma State, trailing by 1. Right side pitch. And Goodson, he won't stay in bounds. He's popped.
Got to call a timeout.
Yeah, now they should call a timeout. Let's see if they do. After the shot was delivered by O'Connor. And yes, no, Nathan Peterson actually caught up with him. And Nathan Peterson, that's a defensive end who chased him down, the senior from Tulsa. So it's a loss, but an alert play by Goodson just to stay in bounds and force them to use one of their timeouts.
Absolutely, and that was just a great job once again of defending the option. Oklahoma State, for the most part today, has not been hurt on the perimeter or inside on the option. That was one of their big plays that they had concern with. Tim Beckman and his defense at Oklahoma State has stepped it up a notch.
Now, Jaworski Lane, the catalyst offensively, as you said, he's been the whole package tonight. Running it, throwing it for almost a score.
Right. 2 touchdowns rushing. And Jaworski Lane, when it opens up like that, he is going to score. And then he comes within a yard of throwing his 2nd touchdown pass of his career. So he rushed for 2 and then set this one up to the 1 to set up his 2nd rushing touchdown. and then he has his first touchdown reception of his career on a middle screen. So Jaworski Lane comes within 1 yard of going for the cycle. How about that, big boy?
Now can they pick up a first down? 2:06 to play. You'd have to think they've got to throw the football. 4 wide receivers, 3 on the top side of your screen, wide side of the field. McGee, straight 3-man rush, not even a 4-man rush. Can he get there? Breaks the tackle, but won't get the first down. And it will be a timeout, stopping it at the 35 with 1:57 to play.
So you get the ball back with over a minute and a half to go, well over a minute and a half to go, in a timeout. And remember, in college football, the clock stops when a first down is generated, the chains are moved. But again, it's not going to be Robinson. It's going to be Bobby Reed. Robinson took a hit to his head from Henry Smith.
So he's been on the sideline.
And he's been woozy ever since.
And he hasn't moved from the bench.
And watch at the end.
It's only a 3-man rush.
Yeah, they dropped 3 and rushed 8. And right there, closing on the quarterback. Once he crossed the line of scrimmage, they knew exactly what the deal was and take him down.
Justin Bradley in for the biggest punt of the night, and he's got a 44-yard average on 5 so far. Tommy Devereaux waits back at the Cowboys 20. What kind of field position? They go for it, and they get the punter. They're going to get a first down. They gambled and they got burned. Do you believe it? Wow. With only 1 timeout left.
Is it running into? That's still a first down.
It is. They needed 5. It's 4th and 5.
Right. If it's running into, it's still a first down. If it's roughing, it's 15, and they got it easily.
Why would they gamble?
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker.
It's roughing.
The receiving team, number 26.
They didn't need the block.
A 15-yard penalty, automatic down.
They did not need the block. They were going to get the ball back, and they're only down by 1.
Obviously, they felt like there was a weakness they could take advantage of, and they thought this was the time to try to do it. And he's blocked into the kicker. I mean, if you're blocked into the kicker, he gets turned all over. If you're blocked into the kicker, that's not roughing. I think that should be reviewed, because as he goes over, he's blocked. Oh, he wasn't blocked. He just jumped over the wedge, the protection wedge in front of the kicker, and wasn't touched. That was he just tried to make an athletic play, fly the wedge like a Superman, and as he rolled into the kicker.
Interesting call though at this point of the game, when you alertly got 3 to get within 1 to set it up in case you got it back. Right. You only needed a field goal.
True.
And they did enough defensively.
But from what I saw from him, I can see why they did it, but it is dicey. Boy, he almost got there.
They've only got 1 timeout left. It'll be a run with Lane. And Lane gets 5 on first down. Yeah, it was a play that knocked Zach Robinson out of the game.
Yeah, the reason he hasn't been in for just about the whole second half is as he gets drilled right here, high low, and that's the hit that absolutely smoked Zach Robinson. He got hit right under the chin by Henry Smith, and you saw his helmet fly off his head. And right now, Zach Robinson is struggling. I mean, that was a blow.
That was a shock to his system. And you can see the whiplash from the hit by Smith.
Rattled his skeleton. I mean, that's like getting hit by a car. I mean, that's equivalent to taking that kind of impact, and it does. I've been involved in those kind of hits. It rattles your whole skeleton, believe me.
Minute 40 left. Oklahoma State has just used their final timeout. So as they put it back with a minute 40, you'd have to think that if they get the stop and force a punt, maybe they could have it back, and I'm just trying to figure out inside of 30 seconds to play.
You know, it makes me wonder.
It depends how quickly they set the football and start the clock.
Did Christian Moore jump over the wedge on his own? I hope not.
Lane outside. He's got a first down. He gets it right where he needed to go, and that should seal the deal. What a burger. What a play. And it was the go-ahead score, their first lead of the night, the middle screen that nobody was home for, going to Jaworski Lane for a 10-yard touchdown.
Well, they booked him because he had not caught a touchdown pass in his entire career, so they thought there's no way they're going to throw to Jaworski Lane. They pretty much booked him, thought he would just stay in there for blitz pickup, and it was a great call. I'll tell you, to call a middle screen to Jaworski Lane at that time was just a great decision.
So now the Aggies will run it down. And they need to get up to the line in a hurry. With 4 left on the play clock. It'll be a knee taken by Stephen McGee. He got it with a second. Takes a knee. So the Aggies are going to be 2-0. After trailing 17-0 at the half, they come back. And they turned it up. Offensively, all of a sudden, they got away from what they were doing in the first half. They had to. They started opening things up a little bit.
They opened it up and they got physical. I mean, they knocked Matt Robinson out of the game. And it wasn't a dirty hit. It was a clean hit, and they rattled him physically. And Bobby Reed comes in and did well. But Bobby Reed had not taken all the snaps during the week preparing for Texas A&M like Matt Robinson had.
And if anybody was ever desperate for a win like this, it was their head coach, Dennis Franchione, after the week that he has had. Now it is official. The Aggies win. They beat Oklahoma State in College Station, coming back from a huge halftime deficit.
Tale of two halves. Charles Dickens at his best.
We thought the Cowboys were going to have the opportunity, but it was a critical mistake to go for the block.
Yeah, when you don't even have an opportunity to get back out there with your offense because of a special teams gap, that's a tough pill to swallow. But you have to give all kinds of credit to Texas A&M. You know, all the controversy that we talked about with Coach Fran and the distraction, to focus like they did and come back from a 17-point halftime deficit is an amazing, amazing victory for the Aggies.